Hey guys, I'm Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I am Cruz.
And welcome to Subwuffer Entertainment Treehouse, a determinedly drunk, geeky, and cheerful podcast where wolves we house in a tree and we entertain, bringing you all latest entertainment news. So that's a lot like a music appreciation class. We talk about what's going on in certain topics and see how people react to them in certain ways. And that song that you were listening to was
The latest meme song known as Crab Rave from an Irish DJ by the name of Noise Storm.
And you chose this song, well, I told you to choose something
In lieu of, maybe thrashing death metal, I would have chosen, usually thrashing, just thrash metal. But I figured, I like to change it up once in a while. And then, of course, the other reason too was it's just a little bit more, as this freaking late Verizon commercial said, like, read the room. It's like, okay, can't play that.
All right.
Yeah. But it's a fun song.
Now, guys, we have a very special guest. We have two very, very special guests.
Yes, you are
us.
hearing voices.
Yeah, you are hearing voices.
Stop it. Get some help.
Naka, do you want me to announce it?
Well, yeah, you organized this whole thing, really.
All right. So without further ado, please welcome Moms of Furries, Carrie and Joelle. Say hi.
Hi.
It's nice.
Hi.
Now, because this is
Stop
Subwuffer
camping so you can do that annoying taunt.
Because this is Subwuffer Entertainment Treehouse, we do want you to say your usual, intro when you begin your video. So why don't you do that?
It's like, shit, we don't have an intro.
Hi, we're the Moms of Furries. I'm Carrie. I'm Joelle. Thanks for joining us.
Very, very well done. I just want to say thank you so much for appearing on our show tonight. You have no idea how much this means to us. And as always, I do want to throw out a couple links for you. So videos...
I'm going to need to interrupt you for a second.
Okay.
Really Husky, thank you for subscribing. Here's your egg.
Yes.
Thank
you so much.
We love you.
We're humble. Namaste. Yes. Papa bless. Thank.
Anyway,
also subscribe to Moms of Furries. I don't know if we linked their channel, but yes, I've subscribed to them. A very insightful channel, I guess.
Yes.
The new kid on the block.
Yes. So
and that's not a reference to it.
I'm going to say this right now. Moms of Furries. For more videos and fun regarding Moms of Furries, check out their website where you can click on their YouTube or Twitter pages, browse art, and even look at a glossary that teaches what certain terms means to the furry fandom, albeit some of them are NSFW. And if you click on the events page, you'll get a list of all the furry events they'll be attending for you to meet in person. Please don't be a stranger. They are some of the best people. Isn't that right, guys?
Indeed.
Now, I do have to say, before we get to our next link, we did try to get a certain mic set up. Unfortunately, it did not go well as planned. But you know what? We are happy to have you here, regardless if you have a beautiful mic like we do or not.
well, yes, they had a Blue Yeti, so that lives up to your standards.
They did. They did have I think they had a Blue Snowball, but
it's close enough. Same brand.
Yeah. All right, so because of this, we do sound a little bit louder to Moms of Furries. So I would like to point something out real quick to both you and Cruz, Cruz and Naka. If Joelle and Carrie are talking, I think it would be best if we kind of keep a little bit quieter. But anyway, Carrie and Joelle, how are you doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, other than, just being the Moms of Furries, of course.
Go ahead.
So this is Carrie, and I grew up in California and have relocated here to the Reno, Nevada area so that my kid can go to school out here. I have 3, and met Joelle, and we actually became business partners. And then Moms of Furries happened.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is Joelle. I grew up in southeastern Indiana. Yay. And also relocated here from, California and North Carolina. It was a crazy couple years. So my teen could go to school here.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that. And I'm going to throw out another link. Also, be sure to donate to their Patreon on their behalf. They really do deserve it more than we do. They do so much work for being mothers to kids who have to work on these sorts of things. And trust me, when you have kids, I'm pretty sure it's not easy at all. It's probably a lot of work. And, it's probably it's part of the reason why, we as college students are kind of taking our time, to get organized before we have kids ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is such a kind thing to say. That is really sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right, some things I do want to point out. We've had more than one subscriber in the past, say, about 3 days that have just popped up. Blueberry, Metalworking Furry, Lady Serena Kitty, and Evil General Wolf. Thank you all for subscribing. Here's a giant egg. And I don't have a soundbite
so
for
much. Now, what's our total? 147. We're on the road to 200. We're gonna get that play button, guys. Yeah, well,
It's exciting.
eventually.
As always,
Give us your money.
yeah, but as always, S.E.T has been brought to you by Streamlabs. We are a non-profit podcast, but we use this as our go-to for making more episodes and help them be bigger and better than ever before by purchasing equipment or other visual means. Please don't feel obligated. We are not asking for money to pay the rent, but if you have the heart to donate to either of our lovely, pieces of work that we are trying to make available for you guys and submit to the fandom and try to do all this sorts of things to bring something new to the table, it is greatly appreciated. We love you guys, and yeah, thank you very much.
And when I say give us your money, I mean that in a joking way, even though it sounds serious. If you can't afford it, don't give us your money. You need to pay rent and a whole bunch of other stuff. Your life is first. We are like second, maybe even like 25th. Okay.
Yes.
That's fair, Lady Serena. It may have updated.
At least for us, we don't. At least for us, we don't know about the moms though. But
I may have updated, but
Yeah, we want you guys to take care of you first.
yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, why don't we get started? You guys, I'm just gonna say this right now. You are probably some of the best moms out there. To have just a glowing, fan base, because the thing is that we have moms who. I don't want to say they're bad moms, but let's just say they're not the cool moms like you guys are,
I mean, my mom took me to my first FurCon, which was furthermore like 3 years ago, and then the year after that, my dad took me to Anthrocon in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, my parents they know, they're cool with it. They don't ask too many questions, not the uncomfortable questions, but they're cool with it. But they're not I think what's unique about Moms of Furries is that they like go out of their way sometimes to if they've kind of just found the fandom, and that they go out of their way to give us, we don't ask for people to like give us praise or something, but they do give a fair perspective on us. And
yeah,
I do appreciate that as someone's like giving a very, like as someone who like has their kid growing up as a furry and like just watching it from the outside, but sort of also being in the fandom.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And continue. Sorry.
Were you gonna
Kyle, you would know because you donate all the freaking money.
Were you gonna say anything? Were you going to say anything, Carrie, Joelle?
No, we just appreciate, all the things you're saying are so kind. I think it's funny because if you were to ask one of our kids if we're the cool mom, they'd be like,
I don't know. My
I think
kids
that's.
I mean, that's it's kind of like Tom Araya's daughter. Tom Araya, the singer, bass player of Slayer, is like, yeah, my daughter doesn't like think plays bass. She doesn't think I'm a cool dad. I'm like,
right.
please.
Yeah.
Your dad plays bass in one of the best thrash metal bands ever. Like, come on.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think.
I'm picturing, like when I picked up my son from his yogurt beach, and he's like, "Mom, drive away quick! There's popular kids over there. Just drive away."
Head down.
Right? Don't speak.
Yes. Were you gonna say something, Naka?
I was gonna say something. How I told my parents that like I was part of the fandom. They really didn't care, other than like my dad did pull me aside for like 5-10 minutes one time. He just had to talk and just to make sure that I was doing everything safely, that I wasn't going to do anything like illegal or get me in danger. And I'm just like,
are you doing drugs?
well, it's not necessarily that. It was because I was still a minor at the time I joined the fandom. So, he was just looking out to make sure I didn't do anything not safe for work when I was underage, with people trying to take advantage of me. But luckily, that never happened.
And you're already of age now, so it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter anymore, but I still play things safe anyway, because I get a little paranoid at times, I'll be honest.
Yeah, of course. So anyway, why don't we get into some of our interview questions, Moms? How about that?
By the way, I'm not copy and pasting all these things in here.
No.
Okay.
You're going to hear them.
Yeah, you're probably going to hear the interview questions. Yep. We're probably not going to copy paste it. We saved that for the actual agenda, which is afterwards, after all the questions. So guys, what inspired you both to make Moms of Furries?
Okay, well, it was kind of a spur of the moment decision, right?
It was. I mean, we were at FurCon. It was our very first con. We were we were emotional. We were overcome. We were excited. And Joelle, we were leaving, and Joelle said, we have to do a video. And I said, what do you mean? On YouTube, we have to do a video right now. And so we did. And
we went up to the rooftop by the pool and just did a quick video because my perception, especially because Carrie was a little more open-minded than I was going into the con. So when I went there, I expected to see a lot of things that, a lot of people think happen at FurCons. And as soon as we pulled up, I realized that these were my people. Because of the perception shift, I felt like we really needed to tell other parents out there.
We need to tell them, and we need to tell them now.
We needed to tell them right then. And then it kind of turned into Moms of Furries.
I mean, that sounds really, really insightful, considering that, the fandom, it's kind of funny because the fandom tends to get, I don't want to say they get a lot of flack nowadays, but at the same time, it's like there is that sudden dread of, there is that kind of little dread that kind of hangs out there that says, oh, well, oh, you're a furry. Does that mean you like to do that?
Yeah.
Fursuits,
I had someone on the streets of Pittsburgh ask me are you a sex cult? And I just turned to them and I just stared at them for a few seconds and then just walked away.
That's a weird question.
Yeah, I was like, and they're like, you a sex cult? And I just turned. I was in my fursuit head. I just turned in there, in suit, just did a gesture of gasp, how dare you, and then just walked away.
I would have been like, yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Look it up. I dare you. Oh, just call their bluff.
Yeah, but So you were talking about, how you two met, and I think it was because you were business partners. How did you two meet, and how did you two become best friends, and how did you get into the fandom, all that kind of stuff?
Well, I will defer this question to Joelle because basically she stalked me.
Well, I kind of did stalk Carrie. So our teenagers attend the same school, and when you start the school, they give out a directory of all the families. So I one day went through and looked at our zip code, and then I compared it with the ages of siblings in the families. I was like, it'd be nice to have somebody here with kind of similarly aged kids. And I found Carrie, and I have 4 kids, but my eldest is 26 and out on his own.
Oh, okay.
The 3 that are still home are exactly the same ages as Carrie's 3.
Really?
Yeah. So she was on my radar. And then one day,
that timeline worked out.
Yeah. And then one day at martial arts, I happened to see my teenager talking to another teen, which does not happen. That's not a normal thing. She's very introverted. And come to find out, it was Carrie's teen. And I had my daughter point out the mom, and I followed her out when we left. And I made her talk to me.
Really?
Yep. The rest is history.
Wow.
We've been together ever since.
So you met through karate, not the fandom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the fandom. The fandom came much later because we've been friends now for 3 years?
Yeah. Well, almost 4, going on 4 years.
Yeah. And so we had a roller skating play date, and we chit chatted, and that was it. And then we started a business, about a year ago.
Yeah, a little over well,
It's our anniversary.
Yeah, in September. So a year ago, we started a consulting business together, and we went to FurCon last year. My child begged to go to a convention. I was very hesitant. I thought she was very naive. I thought that she was, she didn't know what she was talking about the fandom, basically. I thought all of the ugly things. I really did.
So who was the naive one?
It was me. It was me. Anyway,
Okay.
so Carrie one day said, you know what, let's just take them. We'll take our teens. Worst case scenario, we'll just leave. And that's how we went to FurCon and
Had a blast.
No regret. None.
So I do remember asking you this question while you were having your stream last night. Is that I heard that you two are sometimes I want to say the word. I know you two are married to your husbands, but you two are also mistaken for a married couple as well.
Yeah, all the time.
You have the old married couple type of relationship going on, I guess, like the Game Grumps do.
It's funny because some people will say we're sisters and some people will think that we're a couple, but we talk about our kids.
Well, early on, we decided we needed to say something about our husbands because we were getting it a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
We do finish each other's sentences. We do like make each other's coffee. It's very.
We say a lot of things in stereo.
We do. So it's a natural assumption.
Yeah.
And we don't mind either.
No.
Oh, of course.
In the interest of honesty, we do have actual husbands.
Yes.
Yes.
They do exist.
They do.
We were going to interview my husband once, and we got started talking, and he got bumped.
Oh, wow.
And he's sitting there, and he said, "So I guess no."
I guess not. The furries don't like me.
Yes. If you two, what were you gonna say?
I was going to respond like how they reacted to like their first time going to a convention. I was like that when I went to Penny Arcade Expo in Seattle a few years ago. I was volunteering for a game studio called SMG Studios. By the way, Death Squared and Super One More Jump are on the Nintendo Switch. They're both. Death Squared is about
I've been
to
looking into Death Squared. I just need people to play it with.
It's about to
I need
get
people to
20
play it with.
It's about to get a 20 level update. So
Oh, wow.
look out for that and
Nice.
some more options. So look out for that in the coming future. And I thought that, I was going to have to work the whole time. And, I was going in as a volunteer. But there was actually a lot of time that I could just browse, walk around the entire Seattle Convention Center, go to like different, different like shows that people were putting on, like the Runaway Guys is throwing controllers. I just got to hang out with a bunch of like internet celebrities, and it was honestly such a blast. And I was fortunate enough that next year, in 2017, I was needed for help again, and I had even more freedom this time. But I still have to thank them for what they've done for me and
Right.
allowed me to go to. And to go to Penny Arcade Expo, and both those years, I've actually met furries there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually a really nice story, Naka.
Just
Because
a little aside. I think the only time I met a furry outside of a FurCon or Furmy was actually at a comic book store in Worcester, Massachusetts. Because like one of them just walked in, and this was after I'd been a furry, and I was like, "Oh, well, hey, I'm one of you."
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like the first time that I went to a furry convention, it was Further Confusion at California in San Jose.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I had a blast going there. I remembered I remember getting into my hotel room, and I was just very, very like, and then because it was my first con, and then I was looking at the con book schedule, and I was like, wow, I've never been so. Like I was really worried. It's like, wow, I've never been so scared by a con book schedule before.
You're
But
like,
then
do I go to this panel or this panel?
But then I just realized I just needed to take things as they are, and that's exactly what I did. And I just had a blast, and I love going there. I love furries. I love talking about these things. So yeah, it's funny. And I'm really glad that you had a really good convention experience as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. Sorry.
So if you don't mind me asking, what is your fursonas?
Okay, so we are asked this a lot.
Yeah, we get this question frequently.
Okay.
And it's a pretty normal question. I
Yes.
think it's a very valid question to ask.
Absolutely.
We never really got into like the personas, right?
Everything's evolving as
It's
we find our place.
So as of now, Carrie's probably more concrete in what she thinks, and you are
I'm a cat dragon.
a cat dragon with purple and aqua
Yes.
coloring.
Scaly tail and definitely wings.
And I am definitely some sort of cat. Definitely, without question, some sort of cat.
Okay. If you woke up one day as your fursona, what would you do?
Freak out.
I have two different answers: freak out and fly. This is perfect right now.
I would freak out and fly.
Call Carrie and be like, "Are you a dragon?"
And I'd be like, girl, I can't talk, I'm flying.
She's real. I'd be like,
My first con.
Oh, it'd be so fun.
I'd be like, "Come on over. Let's fly around and
I
see
would
if everybody
totally-
else changed too."
I would totally pick you up.
I would actually, I think I'd be upset because with my fursona, I would not be able to fly. I'd be like,
Oh,
well, frick, now what?
But anyway, but we are part of the fandom that really wants to be our fursonas, even though that's not possible.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yes, I personally think it would be cool. Although there are some people who would kind of like to keep that part of their life separate from their human life, which is totally valid, and I do understand that. You know,
yeah. We've heard of people that really keep a strict line between that.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Works.
whatever works for them. So
I mean,
that
I
brings
don't
me-
I don't go out into my work life and my school life and tell it's like, hey guys, I want to dress up in an animal costume and fondle people.
I did go out. Okay, getting directly to the point. I went out in a fursuit on Halloween Day, and this was the only time I did this on campus. I got two reactions. One person gave me a weird look, and then a group of girls ran away, half screaming, and then I was just like, okay, well that's that. And they
how old were these girls, if you don't mind me asking?
They're all college students, so
Oh,
it was on campus.
Well,
Yeah.
some
So it's
people
just they were like, what the hell is that?
well, that makes sense. I mean,
yeah, people
But this year I'm gonna be Garbo Man from Achievement Hunter, which is just basically a garbage bag with googly eyes on it. So a little simple.
Did you have something you wanted to say, Moms?
No, just that. Well, I guess yes. There are people out there that just have a genuine fear of people who wear masks or anthropomorphic animals. So it could just be like a gut reaction, like me.
Yeah,
right?
not everyone had a good time at Disney.
Right.
Their first time at Disney World or Disneyland or
Yeah,
whichever one you went to. It was Disney. It was Disney World for me because Florida, East Coast.
Florida.
Speaking of,
I was fine with it. I think my sister was freaked out, but ironically, my sister became a furry before I did, and then she drew my fursona. Then she stopped being a furry, and then I became a furry. So that's how that worked.
you want to know something funny? Why is it that anthropomorphic characters, like in sports mascots? I mean, I can understand if you're not a furry animal, but at the same time, why are the fursuits that we create so much better than the sports mascots that they create?
And they have billions of dollars to play with.
I mean, I'll even say this as a Ravens fan that the Quoth the Raven that Furthermore made, that's better than Poe from the Baltimore Ravens mascot. I'll say that.
What were you gonna say, Moms?
Well, it's funny because this is Joelle. My 12-year-old is actually doing an essay in school, a compare and contrast between fursuits and mascots. And that's one of her points. Like mascots, they have the money. But
I'm sorry, I just have to clap that. That's amazing.
I thought that was something.
I love that kid.
Yeah, she's
She's
pretty
pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do have another question. Is the present year anything like you imagined it would be when you were growing up?
Okay, so I didn't really look. Did you really think of the future like this far? Okay, first of all, we thought there were going to be hover cars. So come on now.
Well,
Where are the hover?
Well, maybe it's still on the rise, and we just don't know about it yet.
This is Carrie. I always dreamed about the most important thing. People say, what did you want to do when you grow up? I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to have kids. I wanted to do the whole thing. I like to bake cookies, and I want to be Donna Reed, and I always did. So I am doing what I thought I would do. I'm parenting. Is the experience what I expected it to be? No, it's like way different.
I didn't want to have kids. They all know it. I have 4, and I love them dearly, and they're the best things in my life. But like when I was younger, I didn't plan. I
think that's hilarious because you're like homeschool mom and all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, you never really know until you start doing it, and it's definitely not the experience I expected. I don't regret it. I love it. I don't mean it to sound negative, but it's not the journey that I thought it would be.
No.
I'm very, very surprised because, life kind of takes you by storm. You have all these expectations, and then, like it either expectedly or unexpectedly just kind of messes that up. And then you realize, oh, well, this is actually not too bad. I can deal with this. And, it's one of those things where it's like, wow, like life is not at all what I expected it to be, but I still get the sense that I feel happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you have
definitely.
to be adaptable, first of all, because you don't know what opportunities are going to come or which ones are not going to come that you thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Carrie has a great saying for her kids. I think it's the smartest thing parenting-wise is that you need to grow and do things that give you options.
Yes.
So as long as you give yourself options, you're good.
Of course.
Thank you. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To quote Marshall Mathers, when it comes with opportunities, sometimes you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow because opportunities come once in a lifetime.
And sometimes your arm's spaghetti, knees weak, arms spaghetti, vomit on a sweat of spaghetti, mom's spaghetti.
Cruz. Come on now.
I'm sorry, okay?
All right, let me get to the
Tone down the Maymays, Cruz. We have to continue.
Yes. So we're gonna get into actual topic questions if you don't mind us asking rather. So we have a question. What is your favorite genre of music and your favorite musical artist?
All right, Carrie's going to go first.
I'll go first. It's so funny that you said Marshall Mathers because I really, really love Eminem. I love his music. I think he's a brilliant writer.
What do you think about his latest diss track things or his beefs? I don't remember who it was with, but it was with someone.
Yeah, he said some stuff, but I think that's.
I think it was about Tyler, the creator.
Yeah,
that was one.
But I think that he is not adversarial, but he calls people out because that's part of his thing, right? He wants you to think, he wants you to react.
He is very outspoken, I will say.
He is. So it doesn't surprise me. I think that's just part of his thing, and I enjoy that. He wants to get a reaction out of people, and he does.
Yeah.
He makes you really think. And so much of his stuff, especially his earlier stuff, is so raw and it's really emotional, and I identify with that because he wasn't afraid to put himself out there, and that that really.
Even though I'm not a fan of him, I did see that movie,
Eight
Mile.
Yeah, I did see that movie. I did like it. It was a good movie.
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, I know like probably some of the things of his that like everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the movie, but I don't know him well enough just like his normal stuff.
Like the radio stuff. Yeah, I think his albums, I really enjoy listening to them, all the tracks. And if you listen to the words, he really is saying something. Or at least, I think more his earlier stuff. I think he was really he was going through some stuff and he worked it out like with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was cool. And I also really like, I'm just going to throw out Kid Rock. I think that he's also really cool.
Okay, so...
Rock, huh?
You guys have touched on the one thing that Carrie and I just absolutely differ on.
That and zombies.
Yeah, that and zombies. We do not listen to the same music at all, except like old school rap and
or like Eagles,
and
like
classic
stuff.
rock. That stuff,
Eagles. Hell yeah.
But
my parents went to see it. My parents had Don Felder play at one of their events.
Speaking of Eagles, did you know that they recently just surpassed Michael Jackson's, I believe it was the Thriller album? I'm not too sure.
Wow.
Did they get
I didn't know that.
Because
it was either the Thriller album or the Bad album. I'm not too sure which one it was.
I think AC/DC was number 2 with Back in Black.
See, I grew up partying to AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner, and all of that.
Yeah.
That was my childhood. But Carrie, you like what? Rap and
R&B, old school R&B, that kind of stuff.
I love R&B.
Me too. That's my jam. That's the stuff. Belle Biv DeVoe and stop it.
That's my jam, yo.
I was gonna say more Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, that kind
Mariah
of thing.
Carey.
You would say Mariah Carey.
I love Mariah Carey. She's a fantastic artist. I just
Better than most, I'll say.
yes.
But-
Meanwhile, when it comes to rap music, I'm just sitting over here like the most modern rap music is kind of bad. There's only a few songs that are like from my childhood that I like, and then there's Run DMC.
And
Run
I
DMC.
I like
the Beach Boys.
Sly Boogie because of Need for Speed. That's it.
Yeah, like there was the songs that were featured in the Need for Speed Underground games. There's Run DMC. Some of Eminem's songs I actually do like. Some of his new stuff, some of his old stuff. Linkin Park, part of their kind of fusion of music is like they do have rap elements in it as well. But
I don't like modern rap. I think modern rap is just mumbling, and it's all.
it really is.
It's literally called mumble rap or SoundCloud.
Yeah, I didn't even know. This is Joelle. I had no idea. That's how out of it I am, like that kind of stuff. I'm into like alt rock, and I love grunge, and I love like Avett Brothers, folk music.
Yeah, boy.
I love Biffy Clyro, one of my favorite bands.
Do you
Stevie
like
Ray Vaughan.
Do you like reggaeton?
No, I mean, I don't even know.
I don't know what that
That's just
is.
another Verizon commercial reference.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Jack
Old
White, I love
reggaeton, not the new reggaeton. Like,
That's funny.
it's like, what the hell does that mean?
I don't see commercials.
Why do I?
But why don't we move on to our next question? What is?
We
Of
can
course,
talk for hours about music.
I know, but of course we have
We'll
to.
get into that because
We'll get into that because we have a genre specifically about music.
That's me.
Yes. So what was I gonna? Oh yeah. So do you play video games or board games or watch your kids play them?
Okay, we don't play video games, right?
Okay.
Not at all.
But we do board games, and our kids watch video or play video games.
I will watch for 5 minutes and then I zone out. But I love to play board games. I love Scrabble and Uno and anything with dice.
And I have my, especially my teen, I hear all about the video games because she's way into, she loves the ones that are based on actual facts, like Wolf Quest.
Right.
And she loves Niche, but she also loves Undertale and
How do you feel about Fortnite? 'Cause I'm deciding for friends.
my 9-year-old is obsessed with Fortnite and he's not allowed to play it.
I've only played a little bit. I just like the thing.
It's kind of funny because like here's the thing with Fortnite. It's like why like people were like you had like Overwatch, which was like the talk of the town, and then you have a thing like Fortnite, which just came out, and I'm like,
Fortnite was mainly the rival to PUBG, which is kind of like everyone's like all about PUBG, and then Fortnite comes on and just blows PUBG out of the water, and you're like, well, now what? I mean, I don't really play Fortnite that much. I prefer Rocket League personally.
My beef with Fortnite is that because even at like PAX West 2017, they announced that they were going to start up the free-to-play Battle Royale mode, but they had this huge display just across from the booth that I was working at with SMG Studios. So I was seeing like the main like MMO game that it's actually supposed to be, and nobody cares about that. Everybody just cares about the free-to-play Battle Royale game, which makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did try to play the other one, but I just like got like some error thing or whatever. I don't know.
But yeah, that was my question regarding. So your kid is obsessed with Fortnite and he's not allowed to play it at all.
Yeah, he's played it like 3 times maybe.
And he really loves it, doesn't he?
He is obsessed, and he knows all of the dances. Now, tell me how he knows that when I watch him like a hawk because he's sneaky, and he'll dance. He's pretty cute.
Yeah.
He is cute.
So I have which brings me to my next question. What is your favorite movie genre and favorite movie of all time?
Oof.
Okay, so I do not have a favorite genre because I will watch anything. I have even been known to watch Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Even horror?
Yeah.
Do you watch horror?
I will watch anything. I will watch any movie, but I definitely have a favorite. No question, easy question for me to answer is Shawshank Redemption. And the reason why is because it is, it's such a sad situation that has happened. But even in that situation, which is terrible, he still has hope. He doesn't lose his hope. And he has that little tiny stone hammer, that rock hammer, and he still changes his life. And it's just such a message, like no matter how crappy it is, you can get a teeny tiny hammer and you can chip away and you can make it better.
I know, right?
My favorite thing from that movie is like, his name is Dumbass. Alexandra Dumbass.
I think it's such a great movie, and I love Morgan Freeman.
Well, Morgan Freeman is a classic choice, as we all know.
Yeah. What about you, Joelle?
Oh gosh, see, I thought I don't know. It's hard for me to pick favorites because I like so many things. I will tell you one of my favorite movies of all time is What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams.
I've never seen it. Is it any good?
No, it's awful. Oh yeah.
It will make you cry.
It will. Some people would think. I don't know. I think that probably opinions divide, but I really like it.
Okay.
It's really, really sad. But I like comedies more. I mean, I will watch anything.
Contrast to the saddest movie ever. I love comedy.
But I do love to watch a good, like, stupid. My husband just told me that I needed to watch Cockblocker.
Blockers.
Yeah.
Blockers, yeah.
I haven't seen that, but only because of John Cena.
Now I have a question. Are you seeing it because you want to see it, or are you seeing it because of John Cena?
He's not really. He doesn't do it for me. So just go and watch it.
What about having beer? Doing the butt chug.
I've been watching it. It's so hilarious that he couldn't even keep himself from laughing aloud on a plane watching it.
Let's watch it.
So we have to watch it.
Okay, let's watch it. We won't have popcorn.
You bring up Shawshank Redemption. Like, that was my dad's favorite movie for the longest time. Like, whenever it would come up on TV, even if he was watching like a football game or something, he would turn off the football game and he would watch the Shawshank Redemption. But after watching Deadpool, he was just like, after watching Deadpool a few times and having it show up on like HBO or whatever, because that's the only way you should probably watch it, is like on HBO or Stars or whatever. He's like, yeah, Deadpool is now my new favorite movie.
I mean, Deadpool was really good.
It's so funny.
It's funny. I thought it was like, I don't know.
It's raunchy humor, to say the least.
It's awesome. Listen, I grew up. My parents were horrible. They let us watch Cheech and Chong movies.
Oh my god!
Well, I guess then you're ready.
My mom taught me all the swears.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, those are some of the cool moms that I wish we had. But at the same time, there is a line where you have to draw.
Okay, they're actually cool.
Yeah.
That's funny. We have that in common. I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
All right. So why don't we move on to our next question? What is your favorite food to eat?
Yes.
Well,
could you repeat that again?
All of them. I would say Joelle and I do keto, so our typical lunch is a ribeye steak. So
nice.
That was my favorite.
But
and
this is Joelle. And the reason we. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna ask, and for the record, this is like homemade, not the ones that you get from like Black Angus or something like that. Although Black Angus is pretty good.
Carrie grills a mean steak.
And we split it and we're really happy and we make happy sounds and we just smile and it's a good time. So I would say that
I'm a sucker for steak and baked potatoes. That's my bread and butter. Steak and baked potatoes.
Just a quick trivia, moms. Did you know that you mentioned Cheech and Chong, right? Did you know that Clawhauser and the yak from Zootopia are actually Cheech and Chong?
No.
Yeah. Wait, were both of them in there? Because I thought it was just the.
I thought it was just Tommy Chong, not Mary Cheech. But I don't know.
No, it wasn't. Not for Cheech.
No, not for Cheech, but definitely Chong.
Yeah, one of those guys was in there.
I'm just now remembering. Damn it! I got my facts mixed up. I hate it when that happens. I hate not sounding smart.
Oh no, you sound smart.
Cody.
People get stuff wrong all the time.
I know.
All the time.
But yes, we do. We are wolves, so of course we all like steak.
Yeah, we don't do the potato part because we're keto, but we we tear into that steak.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you don't do the potatoes because of what?
We do a ketogenic diet, so we don't have any carbs.
Okay. Is it just for you two, or is it for your whole family?
I mean,
My husband
my roommate was doing. Sorry to interrupt. My roommate was doing keto, and I didn't actually know what it was.
Could you repeat that, Mom? What were you gonna say?
Sorry.
My husband, this is Joelle. My husband does it too, but my kids, they eat whatever. Tonight they had macaroni and cheese on the side, so they get some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we cook to feed everybody what they want, but we don't have any of the carbs usually. I mean, there are obviously carbs in some foods, but we don't have bread or potato or rice, any of those delicious things.
No.
Well, there goes my diet.
But we get to eat steak. We eat steak like once or twice a week, and it's beautiful.
Speaking of steak, it's like it's been a while since I've had it, and my grandparents would make top sirloin.
Yeah, I won't buy it.
Damn, dude.
I hate to interrupt, but Iron Blood Wolf has donated money.
Oh my goodness!
They have donated $300.
Woo!
Wait, so
Wait. What did they donate?
To us
Who
or
did they
them?
donate it to?
They donated it to us because it showed up as a Streamlabs pop-up.
All right, so here's how donations.
Okay, Kyle,
Kyle,
get your ass in gear. I'm just
okay.
kidding. Don't.
So here's how donations is going to work because we were donated. We are going to give you half of the money. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you don't have to do that. Iron Blood Wolf is...
Trust me, Kyle gives us enough money to, more than we ever could imagine to be able to use.
Yeah,
we just want to talk about Iron Blood Wolf because this guy has been so helpful and generous,
supportive, and just amazing to us.
And he has such good character in the conversations we've had with him and the things that he's put in our Discord. We're just really so lucky to have him.
Yeah, as a supporter, patron. Yeah, he's a true patron. He is a true patron in the historical sense of the word. He supports us in everything we do.
He does. Yeah, he's a great guy.
That's what I said in chat. Good guy, Iron Blood.
Yeah.
So I think Iron Blood and Kyle should get together because Kyle is pretty much our main donator to Subwuffer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Iron Blood to you is what Kyle is to us.
Pretty much. But yes, now I do have a question. We are willing to give you half of our donation. Half of our donations, rather. Would you be okay with that?
It's so hard for us to say yes.
That would be wonderful if that's what you would choose to do, but you don't need to do that.
Yeah, that's up to you.
Yes.
All right.
We love that thought. We appreciate that very much.
Okay. All right. So why don't we? But other than that, why don't we kick off with the show? Why don't we continue our show?
Okay. Perfect.
So I have to ask you two: are you fans of Disney?
That's like asking, are you alive?
I am such a Disney girl. This is Carrie. I'm actually a Disney cast member. So I am hardcore for Disney as just a company. And I think it's a wonderful place to, if you want to just get involved and see characters, everything about Disney, I think is awesome.
Now,
what did you mean when you said cast member?
Okay. So a cast member is someone who pretty much works at the parks, but they do it in a way. They do it in a way where they sound all happy and magical, and
But you're one of the employees.
Cast members because all of us are part of the show. That's why we call ourselves cast.
So that's like saying team member for another thing.
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're employed by Disney, 90% of the people employed by Disney are cast members. There are some people who are employees of the Walt Disney Company.
You have to be in character.
But yeah, everybody is. If somebody is selling you a ticket to get into the park, they're a cast member. We're all part of the show.
Fun fact: did you know that Walt Disney loved dogs?
And train. I'm
sorry?
He loved dogs and trains. That's what I know about.
Which is why you see a lot of movies that have dogs in them. It's kind of interesting. Now, what is your favorite Disney princess?
Do you have one? I do.
I don't. Joelle, this is Joelle. I like Disney movies, just because they're Disney movies, but I'm not way into Disney. I don't know. Who's your favorite, Carrie?
Mulan.
Oh, yeah. If I had to
Thank
pick-
you for saying something other than Frozen. Thank God.
Just let it go.
Yeah, just let it go. Let it pretend like it never happened.
Mulan is so underrated, and she brought honor to us all.
Yeah.
Yes,
She
absolutely.
defeated the Huns, right?
Yeah.
She was not
Dishonor on your family. Dishonor on your cow.
I love Eddie Murphy as Mushu. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
But then he went around and played Donkey on Shrek.
Yes.
I'm looking down.
Now, what is your favorite princess? I believe Joelle, right? Or was it? Yeah, Joelle.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have to go with Mulan if I had to choose one. I like strong, independent women.
Of course.
So,
right? Mulan is just so impressive.
Yes. So, I have to say my favorite is probably Belle. I love Belle. I thought because my favorite Disney princess movie is Beauty and the Beast, and my non-favorite Disney princess movie is Zootopia. But yeah.
What princess?
No. Okay, so there's two genres of Disney movies. There's the genres with the princess, and then there's the genres without the princess.
You're saying non-princess. I think you meant like trying to say Judy was the princess, and I'm like, what?
No, I wish Judy Hopps was a princess, but
Beauty and the Beast is a great one. I've seen that so many times. I've seen it on stage, and it's a nice story too.
I love the speaking of, I'm just gonna say this right now. I love the animated one. I disdainfully do not like the live action one.
The live action. Do you know I've not seen the live action?
It's different.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's not exactly like the original, but if you're going into it just wanting to watch a fun movie that's also like a Beauty and the Beast story that's not like the original, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, but I like the stage. The stage play is different than the live action movie. I like the music. I like you guys live in Reno, and I wanted to know, how often do you hit the casino?
Very rarely.
Really? So it's pretty much there's never a time where you wait until all the kids are asleep, your husband comes home, your husband say, "Hey, I want to go to the casino. You want to come with me?" And you're like, and there's never a time where you're like, "Sure, let's go to the casino. Let's have some fun." There's never that time or very
No.
But we found ourselves in the casino before.
Well, we've been in.
For BLSC.
Well, and with
Hold on.
Oh my god, what's going on? What's going on?
We got another donation.
Oh. Go ahead and say it.
$100. The message is, "Awoo, keep up the great work." And it is from our own lovely resident from the Pacific Northwest, Shutterwolf.
Shutter, thank you so much.
Shutter!
That's
God
great.
damn! Everyone's just piling up now.
That's so generous.
That is very generous. We are getting a touch of love every single time we're doing this show. Isn't this just great?
That's 200. That's 200 for you.
Yeah.
I think it's
So,
200 each.
All right. So I do have. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say though that we do. Since we live in Reno, there are a lot of events that happen in casinos, so we do go to them because there are things going on. But I was actually at GSR today. I was at the Grand Sierra Resort because they have a buffet, and I have family in town, so we all met up and we ate until I needed to take a nap.
And I will tell you, this is Joelle. I was an auditor for slot machines several years ago. So working there, it kind of turns you off sometimes to go,
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Now, did you gamble at BLFC?
No, not at all. We were busy.
Well, we gambled on some furries. Giving us hugs. No.
Yeah.
Oh, is this for like the dancing competition? Where you would bid and then you would kind of you would get to dance with that furry?
We didn't get to go. It was one of the times we had to leave. We went and watched Floor Wars, right?
We did. We watched Floor Wars. It was interesting having a con in our own hometown. I know this is not one of your questions, so we kind of got off track. But having the con in our hometown, it was very strange for us because we still had to do the things like feed our children.
Yeah, and run people places.
So we had to go home and come back. So we decided for the next BLFC, we're going to get a hotel room and we're going to go all in.
Yep.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you had a very good time because I went to BLFC with the lovely Shutterwolf who was in our chat. I believe it was the 2016 year, and
Yes,
I just had a blast. I thought it was one of the coolest. I love how the entire convention takes place inside the hotel. I mean, that is just really cool.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you ever get the chance, to go to BLFC again, which I'm pretty sure you will. There's a restaurant, a sushi restaurant called EG2. And I know that sounds like a... Oh, you've heard of this. You've heard of this, haven't you?
No, Itchy very, very well. We've been to Itchy together.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
There are, how many?
Did you get sake bombs?
Oh. Maybe we should try.
We will.
You would have to go with the group of furries that I personally know. But if you do get to go, you will have a blast. I guarantee it.
Yeah, we're in.
If
All right,
that's an
cool.
invitation, then we accept.
Sounds like a plan. All right. So why don't we ask our next question? What conventions did you recently go to, and do you have any good stories to tell?
Okay, so our most recent was Megaplex.
Yes.
Ooh.
And my favorite story to tell, you might have a different one, Joelle,
No, go ahead.
we'll both go. But we were walking back and forth, which is what we do. We pace to look for furries that we know or furries we don't know that we would like to meet and say hello, get a photo. We're walking by, and this gentleman stopped us, and he was not in suit. You know what I mean?
I do.
And he said, "Are you guys Moms of Furries?" And we said yes. And I just want you to know that you guys inspired me to come here today. I wasn't going to come. I saw you on Reddit, and I got in my car and I drove here, and I'm so glad I did. And we were both just so touched that, this gentleman, we hadn't had big conversations with him, nothing. He just was inspired.
Right. It was actually very surreal because it wasn't someone that we, chatted with or had any kind of even online conversations. It was really interesting. Yeah. And we were very, very grateful for that.
Yeah, it was just very humbling. It was a surprise,
humbling,
that somebody we hadn't even really had a conversation with, but just in passing was moved enough he felt empowered because he was nervous.
And he was alone. He came alone.
Yeah, he got in the car by himself and came, which was really brave.
I'm very, very happy to hear that because there are some times where the furry fandom does get a little bit, you really have to, it's a culture. I mean, the furry fandom is practically a community where there's a lot of really strong personalities and you have to be really careful, how to navigate through all that and how to make sure that you're saying the right things and all that thing. And I know this from experience because I went to a convention. I was so flustered. I was so nervous. I did not know the words to say. But then after I finally found my niche, it just kind of all melted away. And I was so happy,
Yeah, we can relate to that. Definitely.
Yeah.
But speaking of conventions, how much attention do you get between videos and in conventions?
It's strange.
We're still not used to the attention that we do get.
Yeah, it's really strange. A lot of times we get recognized frequently at cons, and it still throws us off. Like, us? Do you mean us? Like Timus was there's at Megaplex there was this long hallway with doors all along it, and we're walking. This corridor is right beside it, so we're walking parallel on the sidewalk, and this corridor we heard a knocking. And we didn't pay attention. We kept walking. Then the noise kept going. And it was Timus in full fursuit banging on the glass in the window. Going, "Mom of Furries!" And we're like, "Ah!" Oh my God! And we went running over to him and threw open the door, and hugged him. And it was very exciting to us. That somebody was excited to see us.
I know. We still were like, why?
So you
I
guys.
I wish I had gotten to meet you guys. I didn't know of your channel before I went to Megaplex, but Hey, we're at the same con, apparently.
So next time, say hello.
Next
Yeah.
time.
So yeah, when we're recognized, it really is funny. And then one time somebody said, "Who are you?" Like they said something that we thought they knew who we were, and we're like, "We're the Moms of Furries." And she said, "Is that like a thing? Are you like getting on a bandwagon?" And we were just like,
Huh?
"What?"
We are the bandwagon.
Yeah. We're like, okay, bye.
Nice chat.
Oh, and we did. Okay, we do have a funny story about Megaplex.
What?
Okay, so everybody knows, Majira, and all of them, and they were all in one area taking pictures with people. So we just happened to know them. They were very supportive to us when we first came out, and so we went and we took our picture with them, and we were laughing and joking, and they decided to leave, and we walked out with them. We were talking, and Majira sidetracked. We went up a little ways, and I think it was Mark or one of them said, "Where'd he go
It was
now?"
Darcy.
Oh, it was Gerst. Okay, and we were like, "We'll go check." You guys are on suit. They were super hot. So we're running through trying to find out where he is. And we're asking people, "Have you seen Majira?" And this group of teenage girls looked at us and they said, "He's kind of popular." And we were like,
He's really big.
We're like, he's
like, we were trying to find it. It was hilarious. We were rolling.
And but did you get to meet Majira?
Oh,
yeah.
We've met him a few times.
Actually, we got really when Kiwi was interviewing us, and we love Kiwi.
Yeah.
Majira
I saw that video. It's
There's
yeah.
2 more.
Shout out to Kiwi Fox.
For a long time.
A long time.
But while Kiwi was interviewing us, Majira came in for a while, and he was just standing there looking, and we got really, we're like,
Hi.
we flustered.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We call it fan momming because even though we talk to these guys and we've, like I said, they've been very supportive of us, we still get overwhelmed, especially when everybody's in suit because it's just everybody and not just they hate the word, but
Poppy first.
We call it
Poppy fur. Yeah, I got a little badge that says certified poppy fur. I'm like, I have 1.5K followers on Twitter. It's like, okay, that's something. I'm like, I have a podcast. Technically, I'm pop. It's like, Mom, am I poppy fur yet?
Yes.
I just do it for the memes.
yeah.
We call them
So
But yeah,
celebrifiers. That's kind of cute.
But yeah,
so
I
I
briefly
do
mentioned that, but I did see Kiwi's interview. It did say part 1. I don't know if he's putting up a part 2, but I did see that as addition to our channel in Moms of Furries. Kiwi Fox, he's a cool guy. He's got a channel. He interviewed Moms of Furries as well.
He's funny.
Yeah.
We love him.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He apparently used to live in the town that I'm currently in, where I go to college.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a good guy. We had a lot of fun with him that day, and we
it's in
talked
northern Maryland.
So
yeah.
yeah.
I have like 3.
Yeah, so I do have another question. Do you think children watch your episodes / streams more than adults watch them, or is it vice versa?
It's absolutely children. We were really surprised to find out our demographic is mainly like teens to young adults.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we would reach out to parents. We thought
that was our initial mission, and it still really is. We want more parents
to understand that it's okay, and to let their kids get involved and maybe even get involved a little themselves.
But what has happened is it's a lot of kids that maybe didn't have a great experience telling their parents that they're part of the fandom.
Or they haven't told their parents.
Yeah. Or even sometimes that they did, and so they identify with us. But it's definitely kids really identifying with us as moms, I think.
Yeah, and then we do have the adults. A lot of the adults that follow us are ones that did not have great experiences earlier in the fandom.
I see.
So,
Yeah.
But mainly young furs.
It's a lot of young furs. That's why that's a big part of why our content. Now we will watch anything, and we like to have fun, but the content that we put out will always be safe for young furries because we know that that's who our audience is, and we want them to be safe. That anything they see that we do is going to be safe for them.
Right.
Okay. Is there anything that you wanted to say, Naka? Because I thought I heard you stutter.
Not really.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to put the attention on you. It's just I thought I heard someone was talking.
No, honestly, I'm still listening. There's not a whole lot that I can really add to these conversations. I'm just kind of sitting here listening, making sure everything is fine, and then just doing stuff on my Nintendo Switch that I brought out with me. I'm not trying to cut you guys out because I actually have you guys directly in my ears, and I'm still fully engaging with everybody. But yeah, there's not a whole lot I can really add to some of these conversations if you catch my drift.
Yeah, that's fine. Unless it's a conversation that you know about, right? You know about, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, just making sure. All right, so what mom caricature inspired you to be the coolest moms that you are?
Do you have one, Joelle?
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm a cool mom, so.
I don't feel like I'm a cool mom either, but I have an inspiration.
Okay.
I thought about it. It's pretty easy for me, and it's from an older show, so you guys might not be familiar, but there is a show that was on HBO about a decade ago called Queer as Folk. Did you ever watch it, Joelle?
Yeah.
Okay, so what? And it's about this group of gay friends,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in Philadelphia, I believe. And one of them, Michael, his mom, Debbie, she's like a P flag mom, and she's totally into it, but she's super embarrassing. But she will say anything, and she really embarrasses him because she supports him so fully. Mm-hmm. And he's embarrassed by her a lot. But the whole point is he can go to her with anything because he knows she won't judge him. And that's kind of who I would like to be. Like, it's okay if you're embarrassed by me and if I'm too much and I'm over the top, but know that I'm safe to come to. So she's kind of my inspiration of that. Like, you can tell me anything. I want to hear it. I want to be a part of your life. So that's kind of what I'm inspired by.
Yeah.
Oh. And are you and Carrie, is that the same mom that you're inspired by as well?
Oh, that was me, Carrie.
Even I'm getting mixed up now. It's just like, I love you.
That's okay. It's okay. You know, it's funny because I think that we are universally like seen as one person when we talk to people. They don't say or Carrie. We are the mobs, and we're fine. With that,
we don't
mind. We don't care.
We don't at all. I don't know. I think that for me as a mom model, it's probably all of the things that I saw that I didn't want to be through like growing up in all of those traditional roles where everybody was so. I grew up in a very closed-minded small town, and I was not kind of in the norm in my entire life. But my eldest son, I have a 26-year-old, and I think having him and not being the person that he wanted to go to for a few years of his life really opened my eyes to being like, okay, you know what? I really need to be conscious about what kind of person I want to be. And like Carrie said, I want to be somebody that my kids can come to with anything. And now they come to me with things I don't even want to know about. But I think
I'm very, very glad to hear that because, you know, not a lot of parents are like that. It's kind of upsetting. Well, some of them are, but then you have to realize that not every mom is, you know, like the cool mom. They're kind of more of the supporter type thing, you know?
Right.
Well, and I think that no matter what kind of mom or dad you are, like we really are all doing our best.
Right.
So we try to always say, you know, it's nice that people call us the cool mom or whatever, but we screw up all the time. Every day. And every day we wake up and say, okay, today I'm going to do great things and I'm going to be a good mom. And then, you know, and then we screw up again. So we just say, like, we're all human. Kids are human. Moms, dads are human. We make mistakes, and that's okay.
Yeah. All right. So, speaking of kids, when would you? And this is just a thing. When would you allow your kids to watch an R-rated movie, play M-rated games, or listen to explicit music?
All right, you go.
We have totally different answers on this one.
We do.
If it makes you feel better, my parents let me listen to Green Day when I was like 12.
Yeah, you know, to me, it really depends on the kid. So I have a 9-year-old, and I very closely guard what he watches because things will scare him. But I have a 12-year-old, and pretty much anything goes. And he learned about Eminem from me, and Kid Rock, and some of those you know, they have questionable lyrics, and we talked them through. And actually, I played some Snoop Dogg for him the other day, and he listened to the words of the song, and he's like, "Mom, oh my gosh!" But I think it really depends on the kid, and I am pretty open, and I wouldn't let him watch terrible things. But he's seen R-rated movies, and he's 12.
Yeah, my 12-year-old has not, and so
Very different.
But I will say that my children censor me. So my teenager will sit in the car and kind of be the monitor of the radio. So if there's something coming on and she doesn't want her siblings to hear, she'll turn it down. And we just had to have a talk with them. Like, they're just word
She's the
kids.
police.
They are
the police.
So my kids censor themselves. But my teen is pretty, she's 15. And I mean, she's a really responsible kid, so I allow her to watch whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. Like, I don't want to make it like you can't say a swear or you can't, because honestly, they've seen a lot worse on their own and said a lot worse than what they do around me. And I was a kid once, and I know that. So if I don't make a big deal about it, then it isn't a big deal. There's no cachet to saying the F word. Not that my kids say the F word around me, but you know, just to take away the power of this forbidden stuff.
It's funny. My husband and I, because my kids censor themselves so much, we had to talk with them not too long ago. We're like, okay, listen, at 15 years old, you're allowed to cuss in the house. It's okay. Because by then you'll know that it's not appropriate to do in certain situations. And we think that you'll be able to self-monitor. But we had to tell them it was okay because they're so weird about it. If one time we were moving something and I dropped something and I said, oh, shit. And my 7-year-old yelled at me and got mom.
Oh, how the turns have tabled. Yeah, my dad will be okay if I say like stuff occasionally, but if I start to get too excessive, we'll be like, okay, stop.
Yeah, it's about the same.
I'm okay with that. I'm like, in context, it's okay.
I mean,
but outside of that, it's not.
It is, and if you know, like, well, as you were saying earlier, if you can read the room, you have to be old enough and mature enough to know, like, this is not the appropriate setting.
Yeah,
that's not just for music. Yeah, I mean, know your audience is
right.
And have a diverse vocabulary that isn't only swears.
Right.
But you know,
I mean.
Sometimes we emote.
I watch enough Markiplier to come up with some interesting alternatives, I guess.
Were you going to say something, Naka?
I mean, like, right around, like, I really didn't start, like, quote unquote, I didn't start swearing until I was about, like, 10, 11, when I moved to New Jersey for a few years. And because, you know, New Jersey, people are a bit brash in New Jersey, and they're a little bit, you know, upfront in your face about it. But I always understood that, like, it was not okay for me to do it around my parents, only with my friends, and only with my friends, whether it be, like, at the school lunch table, at, like, a recess or whatever, but never in front of my parents or, like, my sister or anything like that. And that kind of just grew over time. And then, you know, being a kid in the early 2010s on Xbox Live, playing with your friends, you do a lot of swearing. And my parents didn't really care because they know it's like, oh, he's just playing with his friends. It's all right. I didn't really start, like, kind of swearing around my parents until I was about, like, 16. And I'm 19, so this has only just been within the past few years. Yeah, and even then, they're just like, you know, don't do it excessively and make sure you're just not shouting your lungs off, but you're fine.
It's funny you all have the same similar story because I was not allowed to curse, and I was probably one of the most. I was very, very prudent and unfortunately a prude. I'm not going to lie, because unfortunately I grew up in a very conservative background where, you know, you're not supposed to say those things. And I just kind of, you know, censored myself very heavily. And then when I moved out of my house, I'm just like, I didn't really move out of my house. I moved somewhere else. I'm just like, I don't really care anymore. I'm just going to say what I want. So that's what I do. And, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I guess I guess the whole world is just not ever meant to never say bad words.
I grew up in a Catholic family, but it wasn't that kind of Catholic family.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Moms?
Our view is they're just words. You know, if that's the way your kid's gonna do.
Yeah, and forbidding them really gives them more power than they do have.
And
I did a study on this, not to interject, but like that the explicit lyrics thing is kind of gives a forbidden fruit effect on music.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's what we think about anything. The kids are built to rebel, to be independent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But but yeah, that's that conversation.
I mean,
That happens.
I could remember like when like Grand Theft Auto 4, my friends were playing it because it was like 2010. I started seeing Grand Theft Auto, and I'm just like,
San Andreas.
it was Grand Theft Auto 4, not San Andreas.
Oh, okay.
But my parents were like, yeah, and then for a few years after that, it's like, yeah, we really don't want you playing Grand Theft Auto. We just want to make sure that you'll be mature enough. Then once they turn like 15, they're just like, well, we don't care as long as you're just not like a raging psychopath in your physical life, which we know you aren't. But just have fun. Don't share it off with the world. My parents didn't really care what music I listened to, because I didn't really listen to any much of explicit lyric music. And like when it came to R-rated movies, honestly, it was mainly just like the violence and the sex factor when it came to R-rated movies. But like the violence and the swearing, they stopped caring when I was about like 13, 14. It was the sex a little bit later on, like at 16. There's like, okay, we're done.
It's more so it's more so like the you know how movies are rated R for like sexual material, and it's like it's so funny how the MPAA works, and it's like, damn you if you show a nipple in there, something everybody has.
My dad showed me like Pulp Fiction when I was like 14 or 15.
Oh wow.
I was like, he's like forewarning, this movie contains X, X, and X, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right.
I just fast forward.
It's still one of my favorite movies to be.
Yeah.
it's a great movie.
Yeah, it is. Well, we do have a couple of furry related questions. Let's get back into the furry related questions.
We're getting into the meat of it.
Yes. What is your favorite furry related TV shows? An example, do you watch BoJack Horseman, Agretsuko, etc.?
Agretsuko.
Yes.
We don't. I know my teenager watches Agretsuko. I want to watch BoJack though because everybody's been referencing everything, so I'm pretty excited. I think I'm gonna watch it.
Just a disclaimer, just a huge disclaimer about if you're gonna watch BoJack, just be forewarned. The whole premise of the show is basically do the right thing, and more often or not, you will see some people doing the right thing and some people not doing the right thing. And that's really the whole premise of the show. And
premise of the show isn't like Will Arnett. I still need to watch it.
Yeah.
I like him. He's funny.
Yes, Will Arnett plays BoJack, and so just be forewarned. It's not for the faint of heart. BoJack is a very serious topic show.
Okay.
Really?
All right. Yes.
Yeah, I just started watching.
It's funny. It's good, but it's also serious.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I need to start watching that, but then my friend got me started on Disenchanted, and I'm like, okay, well that's.
Oh my gosh! Somebody else was just talking about Disenchanted.
I only watched the first episode, but that's got like Eric Andre.
Do you two?
It's pretty good, actually. It's all right.
Do you two watch Steven Universe?
Yes.
I know you do.
Carrie does not, but I am.
Oh, Carrie needs to. Carrie, you don't know what you're missing. You need to watch it.
Dude,
My kids don't really watch shows.
Oh.
They know. Oh my gosh, Steven Universe! We're so excited to figure out what the heck is going on with White Diamond. Like,
I don't know if any of I don't think any of my kids watch.
You're crazy.
My kids are so weird. I'm like, do you want a TV for your bedroom? No.
You just watch it on your phone.
Yeah, mine don't have TVs in the bedrooms.
They don't watch shows.
They love, and then we just started, and something we've not watched for a long time, but we are. I mean, it's not furry related, but Gravity Falls.
I need to watch.
Oh yes.
I heard about Gravity Falls, and I heard it was really good. And there was only one reason that I didn't go see it. I was reluctant to see Gravity Falls, if only because it was on Disney XD. And that was the only reason why, because I thought Disney XD was for that's for little kids. I don't know if I want to watch that.
Oh, it's so funny.
I heard the opinions. I heard that it's really, really good, so I'll have to check it out myself.
It's one of the best cartoons of the decade. I'm going to come out and say that it's one of the best cartoons of the decade.
I would agree because
a little bit of it. That's the one with the weird pyramid triangle guy, right?
Bill Cipher.
Yeah, it's that guy.
I saw one episode with that, and I'm like,
Bronco.
Reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye, Gold. Bye.
it's a little bit like Chowder to me, but it's like a little bit better than that, almost.
But yeah,
I love
but yeah, are there any furry related shows that you would want to recommend us, or did
I
we?
was trying to think. You don't really do you? I mean, we're like old school furry related. I grew up with Bugs Bunny, like back in the day. Nobody
I
knew
watched
was.
I watched Boomerang on Saturday morning.
I like to get angry.
I think the first furry thing for me was like
Cat dog.
Cat dog was one. But
Yeah.
mostly Scooby Doo and Tom and Jerry. Were my old ones.
Tom and Jerry was really good, but yeah,
Tom and Jerry
I
was
do.
the shit.
I do
Absolutely.
hope you watch Agretzko and BoJack Horseman. They're both on Netflix. I'm pretty sure you both have it.
Yeah, to our 26-year-old. It's not exactly death metal, but the soundtrack to Agretsuko is metal related.
Yes,
So,
which is why
it's from the same studio as Hello Kitty. All right.
yes, the people who made Agretzko is the same people who made Hello Kitty, Sanrio.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yes.
It's pretty funny.
We'll check those out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Rocko's Modern Life. Somebody said that. That was good too.
There you go.
Rocco's Modern Life was also really good.
That's
I
another
haven't, but yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, I do have what is your favorite furry related movies? Good examples are Robin Hood, Zootopia. Obviously, my favorite furry animated movie is Zootopia, but that's just me.
The award winner. I mean,
All of them.
I love them all. I love so many, but the Disney classic. I'm a Disney girl. Jungle Book.
Okay.
Okay, I loved Robin Hood. I loved it because Maid Marian wasn't the whole, you know what I mean? She wasn't like the woman in distress kind of thing. But
there is one. You want to know something funny? There is something that you bring up. You bring up an interesting point, because the thing with Maid Marian is that I don't like how she disappears in the third act. She just disappears in the third act. I wish that she had more character. I wish that she was kind of part of the whole thing.
I loved her character.
Yeah.
But so I recently, Isle of Dogs. That's amazing.
I saw Isle of Dogs. I think
Isle
Naka
of
saw.
Dogs, great.
Did you see it, Naka?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Are you? Will you see it one day?
Yes.
Yes, Isle of Dogs was a fantastic movie. I love Wes Anderson. I loved Fantastic Mr. Fox. He's a great director.
Fantastic Fox, yes. The Secret Life of Pets is awesome. I think it was I loved it.
And also Bedknobs and Broomsticks, when they go to the different islands and then the animals come to life.
I got a question for you. Which is better, Bedknobs or Broomsticks or Mary Poppins?
Because Mary Poppins was really cross. I don't know why. She was very cross with them. Spit Spot.
Mm-hmm.
She was really
I know, but
cross.
I loved her because of it.
How impertinent to suggest that I did such. No. But Bedknobs and Broomsticks, that was just fun. And Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Classic.
Fun fact: Angela Lansbury did not like the Beauty and the Beast remake because she was in it.
Oh.
I saw her. I read a lot of articles, so
Why
I read
didn't
an
she?
article.
Yeah, you did. Why didn't
Well, because mostly, here's the thing. The thing with Beauty and the Beast animated classic was that there's two big problems with, remaking an animated classic for Beauty and the Beast. The first problem is Beauty and the Beast was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. And at that time, that was completely unheard of for an animated film. And the second thing was, it's an animated film, and yeah, it tends to hold more power over the Disney remakes nowadays. So
I have to shout this out, but one of the original furry, I guess, films I would have thought of that I can remember, and I had to look it up because I was unsure of the name, was An American Tale, Tail, The Treasure of Manhattan Island.
yeah.
That's the one I remember the most with the subway scene. That one,
That's really
I just have so many memories of that.
Aristocats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aristocats was good.
American Tail, Aristocats, another great one.
Yeah. So So speaking of music, have you listened to furry artists like Fox Amore, Pepper Coyote, Rhubarb the Bear, etc.?
Yes, I just listened to Pepper's. What is it? Drive into the Sun. I think it's something like that. That I just did that today. I heard that before. We've heard.
I'm sorry, Naka. Are there feed?
There was a little bit of roboting. If you could just repeat that, please.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, it happens. It happens. Don't worry.
This is Joelle. I just listened to Pepper's song. I think it's called "Drive into the Sun." Today, or Drive Directly into the Sun. I can't remember the exact title, but it was really cool. But we listened to Fox and Pepper's stuff. The new stuff that's coming out looks amazing, where they recorded in the studio in Nashville, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe they recorded in a church. I'm not too sure.
Oh,
I know that I've tried to listen to all of the clips that they've put out because it's amazing. They are really amazing.
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 They are.
Sorry, I should use other adjectives, but
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Fox Amore is actually serious about that symphonic metal album, because that would be class.
Yes.
That would be good.
an amazing musician.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you have listened to furry artists, and I hope you listened to more of them. I'm not too sure if you heard of Fox Amore's new album, Dreamcatcher. His latest album. It was actually really good, and I really enjoyed it. I hope to buy his album soon. But yeah. So when do you think you'll get to meet Boozy and QM? Because let me tell you, they've been all over the fandom. They've been everything, and I'm still waiting for QM to be in a guest video of you guys.
I met Boozy twice.
Well, we're gonna have to head east to do that.
Yeah, I think we told QM that we really wanted to get with them.
Yes.
Once in a while we try to send them little treats.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're like long distance friends, but we've not.
Yeah.
We'd love to go to Camp Tiny Paws and do
Yes.
something with them.
So, in answer, I guess we hope to as soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible would be the greatest time.
Yes, of course. Now we're gonna come up to our last two questions, and I know we've asked so many. I'm really surprised the stream is still watching us.
It's been nearly 90 minutes of questions, dude.
I know, and I'm just really surprised. So the last two questions are: what was the first year of motherhood like for you guys?
Okay, so this is Joelle. I will say I kind of had it twice because my first child is 11 years older than my second child.
Okay.
So it was almost like having your first one again. The first time is like a whirlwind, I think. Do you agree with that? Like things just happen, and you even if you've prepared, you've not really prepared, because it's one of those experiences you don't know what to do until you're in the moment. And it goes by so quickly, and you're amazed. Like you're amazed that you created this actual human.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I said before, I always wanted to be a mom. So when I had my first child, I was all of the things. I was so excited, but I didn't know what to expect. And I remember when you have a baby, you get discharged from the hospital, you have to bring the baby in within 72 hours to the pediatrician to make sure everything's going okay and all of that. And I did that, and then the pediatrician said, come back in 2 weeks. And I said, what? I'm on my own for 2 weeks to keep this child alive? And just that fear of messing it all up and the excitement. I mean, that first year was so amazing. And I remember, because I worked full time, I went back to work my first day from maternity leave. And as I was walking into the building, I wished I was pregnant again, because I loved it so much. And it took me a while to get that next kid. And it was, it was worth the wait. It was very exciting. So I think that first year of your first child.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I remember my eldest, taking him home and like, what do I do now? Like we're home. What do I do?
Well, I remember my baby had what I didn't know at the time was just gas, but would not stop crying for like 45 minutes. And I'm trying to do everything. And my husband, we're trying to figure out what's wrong with this poor baby. Is the diaper too tight? Just crying, crying, crying. And my mom happened to be staying with us because we had a new baby. And she walks in and she says, "Oh, it's gas. You just need some gas drops."
So, I thought you were gonna say he would not stop farting. I'm like, okay, well, now you're on the next step.
No, he was
Not until
crying,
like
crying,
preteen.
crying.
You
And
didn't
my
know how to
mom
fart.
some gas X. And my husband and I were in tears. We couldn't fix this baby. Went to CVS, got gas drops, baby was fine. And just this revelation, like, oh, you know, it's
You can fix
Oh,
them.
so that's how it works.
Yeah.
learn. And I just think to my mom, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I can see that it would be stressful to do all of this stuff. Like, whatever happened, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can imagine that because my cousin and his wife they just had their first kid who I got to meet this summer. Just a little baby, and imagine he's going through some of that right now.
I will say the first year is probably, and Carrie, do you agree? Probably the easiest in
Yes.
a lot of ways, though.
Yes. Yes, because
At least you have the luxury of not knowing what you're doing.
And
Yeah.
they're not mobile, very, very mobile.
Yeah.
They
When
can't talk
they,
yet.
oh, you'd be surprised. My
Once they
cousin.
become sentient.
My cousin was recently born, and when he turned 2, oh my God, he got into everything. We had to baby proof the house.
yeah, but when they're like 6 months old, you can just set them down and walk away, and they're
I mean, not like on anything hot.
yeah, because they'll roll off. But you can, like, if it's crazy, you can put them in their crib and you can walk away for that 5
And
minutes.
take a second and
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, but when they're 10 and they're screaming at you, you can't do that as readily.
Yeah.
I will say when they just turned to 18 and know everything, you can't do that as readily either.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I can tell you when they turn 18, they're just like, oh my God, I want to get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Finally.
My poor son turned 18 September of his senior year. So
Oh wow.
his senior year. It was, well, we got through it. I mean, I feel like I have a shirt somewhere that says we survived.
I would hope that this 18-year-old is still living with you until the time comes for him to be on his own, or is
Oh,
it?
he was. That was our deal. I'm like, you just have to stay with us until you have your diploma and then do what you want. I mean, he just turned 26 recently, so.
Yes.
See, I feel like, and then my husband and I have told our children, you're welcome to go, but if you can stay at home as long as you want to while you're going to college. If that helps you get through it, stay with us. So we haven't.
You're much nicer. I'm like, no. Let's see. How many years do we have before this 9-year-old's out?
No, I don't think
You got it.
9-year-old. You in college yet?
Joelle, you got to know something. It's a different time period for every kid's generation. Like for my generation, it was radically different. For the next kid's generation, it's going to be radically different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So which brings me
I don't
to
know if you're ready
my
for Cody either, because you might. I don't know. I can see you and just being like, okay, my little gremlins. Because I used to intern in a music shop, and this guy in a Pantera shirt comes in with his daughter, and he just turns to me and says, like, I can't believe I made another one of me. I'm like, yeah.
So you guys, there's a little known fact. I don't talk about it a lot, but this is Joelle. I actually have a recently turned 3 grandson. I have a grandson.
Right.
So I'm actually a grandma.
Does that mean you're gonna have to change your names to Grandmoms of Furries?
Nah.
Not yet. Maybe when both of you are. I don't know.
All right. So we've come to our last question, and this question I had a really hard time. I had a really hard time writing because I was getting a little bit emotional. Something was kind of tugging into my heartstrings, and it's kind of a really serious question. And this is for both of you. As a mom, as a mom, both inside and outside the fandom, what do you want or wish most for your kids, as well as the people watching this show tonight? What do you wish for pretty much the kids? What do you wish for the most for your kids, as well as the chat room that are here watching the show tonight?
I I think this is an easy one, and as soon as I say it, Joelle, you're going to agree. We want our kids especially, and everyone out there to know that whoever you are is okay. It's good. And I want my kids to feel comfortable in their own skin and to know that whatever their quirks are, just make them more interesting, and that weird is good. And we want everyone else to know that whoever they are is great. You don't need anyone's approval. Whoever you want to be is the person you should be.
Yes. And as for you?
So I agree, 100% with that, because that's kind of, we have quirky kids. So we think that that's very strong, but we also want, if there are any parents out there, and I don't know if there are any parents listening, keep the line of communication open, because everybody goes through horrible times. They need someone to come and be able to just vent or be like totally themselves. And if you shut that down, you won't get to see that part of your kids. You won't know your kids. So always keep your communication open, whether you like what they say or not.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I would love my kids to always be able to talk to me and know that I'm receptive to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Even if we don't agree.
And to stay in school.
Well, we would be lifetime students if we could afford it.
Yeah, for me, that's just like a non-negotiable. Like, school matters, and it's all about what Joelle said before, having options. And if you get yourself an education, you're more likely to have options and make your life what you want it to be. So, yeah.
Stay in drugs, don't do school.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's stay in milk, eat your drugs, and don't try this at home.
But yeah, why don't we finally get to our agenda? How about
90
that?
minutes later.
What do you mean the show's not over?
No, the show's not over. Now it's your turn, Cruz. Why don't you introduce us?
All right. Well, we get started with music and some old-timey stuff with Loretta Lynn. But it's country. Why? Rhinestones. Why? Well, to be fair, it's not that kind of annoying country. Well, for Lynn herself, it's her 41st album titled Wouldn't It Be Great? So it's clear by this point, I think she knows what she's doing. I'm pretty sure I haven't heard any of her music in the past, but I do feel like I have heard something about a coal miner's daughter. That I vaguely remember that as a title. But this album from Loretta Lynn is coming your way on September 28th.
Don't care.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for us to really like country, in case you don't notice. But what about you, moms? What do you think?
For us, the country.
This
It's
is
just not
Joelle. Yeah, we like old country now. Coal miner's daughter, definitely no. But I'm not into country at all. It kind of took a turn to pop many years ago.
It's because of Taylor Swift, isn't it?
Well, no, it's actually before Taylor Swift. It changed. I think way back in the day when it started, like there were some collaborations with rap and country. We knew that was the downfall of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anything other than Johnny Cash in my mind is just.
Johnny
Yeah,
Cash,
same.
Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, the greats.
Yeah.
And then, which is another reason I like a band called Volbeat from Denmark, actually. Not an American band, but they're the most American Danish band you'll ever see.
Yes. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Loretta Lynn. Did Carrie go somewhere?
She did. She'll be right back. She had to step out for just a minute.
Okay, that does sound like her. I mean, it doesn't sound like her, but I'm pretty.
Go Carrie.
I'm pretty sure she's a nice mom. She's just probably busy doing something right now.
She is right back here. She just had to step out for a second.
Okay. Hi, Carrie. So I do want. So we were talking about. So we were talking about Loretta Lynn. What exactly do you think? What do you think about Loretta Lynn? She's a country singer. Are you a fan of her?
I like Loretta Lynn. I like country music, especially old school country music.
Yeah, we had that discussion.
I know.
I think Johnny Cash trumps everything because, and
Oh, yeah.
that reminds me. My dad told me a story because when he went to Ireland, which I haven't been there yet. I've been to Germany, but I haven't been to Ireland. He was saying all they played in the bar was Johnny Cash. I'm like, I can believe that.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have to say regarding Loretta Lynn. So why don't we move on, Cruz?
Spoiler alert,
All right.
I really just kind of don't care about this week's music
Yeah.
in general.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Soft rock, we're getting to that. No, that's not happening just yet. Up next is something that I don't care about, and oh my god. So, well, if the title didn't give it away, Dancing Queen. This is a reference to the new Mamma Mia film, and I said M-A-M-A, not M-A-M-M-A, and to which I replied, frankly, I don't give a damn. It's the same fucking thing. You know the Mamma Mia movie, and but this is actually not a soundtrack. This is a bunch of cover songs of ABBA by Cher.
ABBA.
Who is,
I have a very
that's what I
strong
said. Cover songs of ABBA by Cher, who is in the second Mamma Mia movie. And yes, both women that you see on the album cover are Cher, I believe. It's just one is superimposed on the other. No, that's Moms of Furries up there on the screen. That's actually right because both one is blonde, one is not on, but yeah, I didn't listen to the song because I've already heard all the songs from the movie soundtrack, and I'll tell you why. That's Lamb of God reference, or actually Burn the Priest reference. But many times in the car as a kid, the soundtrack to Mamma Mia would be played ad infinitum, and as a result, I hate Mamma Mia. I hate ABBA. This album, in the words of Randy Jackson, it's going to be a no from me, dog. Coming September 28th. Don't do it.
Okay, so I understand that you two have strong opinions, so why don't you go ahead and speak them?
Well, I do. This is Carrie. I love ABBA. Love.
She does.
Big love for ABBA. But
There's better Swedish music out there.
I love ABBA, but I will say, and I watched the movie and I loved the movie. I'm like very faithful, but the Cher part of it, super weird for me. So I'm going to vote no on her cover album.
Okay.
Very weird.
I don't have an opinion.
It was very strange. She looks really like she's had so much, when they get so much work done and it's hard to look at them.
Yeah.
That was
a little
strange.
bit. When you see her looking dead on at you, it's kind of like,
Well,
you can tell.
I do have to
don't wanna
say,
make eye contact.
I do have to say, despite Cher's appearance, she still kind of looks pretty good for her age, given that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
see again.
and as for you, Naka, are you still playing your Nintendo Switch, or are you actually focusing on the show?
No, I'm focusing on the show. I just don't care about either of these artists.
You don't like Mamma Mia and you don't like ABBA.
Well, I'm not a fan of Cher. I'm not a fan of Mamma Mia. I'm not a fan of
I
ABBA.
thought of rage, but yeah, for 70.
The only
for
AB
72, I mean,
the
that's
only
almost as old as the singer for Judas Priest, Rob Halford, is like in his 60s, and he's still screaming his lungs out. So
The only ABBA that
That's
I
something.
enjoy, is the continue code for Akari Warriors on the NES, which is ABBA.
All right, so why don't we? So why don't we move on to our next part of the agenda, Cruz?
Yeah, Cody. Now this is where we get into some soft rock, or some mellow rock. It's Rod Stewart, Blood Red Roses. He's still around, still making music. Sir Rod Stewart, as it were. Sounds like he's doing quite well for himself. This is his 30th studio album, Blood Red Roses, and it's going to be released on September 28th. Now, I haven't personally listened to him. When I say listen to, I haven't
isolated it as just listening to Rod Stewart, but I'm sure I've heard him in passing. This is more that mellow, soft rock, something that's more easygoing to listen to and is radio friendly, not to be confused with radio made. It's not something made for radio, but it's more that kind of, it's like stuff you'd play at a, cocktail party or something. I don't know. Because I mean, with my mom has like 5 sisters, so I've 4 or against my will have been to plenty of those because that's how my mom does. Yeah, but yeah, Rod Stewart got a new album out.
That's awesome for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I heard like his newer-ish stuff and it wasn't his old, like it wasn't his original stuff.
He's not really my scene.
Yeah.
But I wish him well.
Yeah. I listened to what he said. He's good. He's all right. It's just not something that I would personally listen to. What about you, Naka?
Just not my style of music, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, but it's. I'm happy to see him still play. But why don't we? Yeah,
and he did play in the Jeff Beck band with the aforementioned the man Jeff Beck himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's more the softer side of that. But how do I get to something I'm excited about?
Okay.
That's a band from Columbus, Ohio, named Beartooth. Finally, get to talk about something that I like. I've been a fan of Caleb Shomo, who is the singer for this band, since his time in Attack, and he's only gotten better for his time in Beartooth. Now, this is their 3rd album, called Disease, which is following the theme of their EP Sick and of their first full album, Disgusting. Their last album was called Aggressive, which kind of breaks that theme, but they're back to the sickness theme now. The band is dialed in. They know what they're doing, delivering their best music yet. The title track starts out with some clean guitar, something the band does not use often, but it does show that they're able to avoid sounding too much the same from album to album, and they're willing to keep changing things up to sound interesting. And until we get to more heavy stuff, I'm really happy to hear that these guys are still going. They've got a new album coming out, and they sound really good. And I'm excited for this. Coming your way, as all the other albums are, on September 28th.
All right, I need to put my thoughts forward first. I'm not a huge fan of metalcore music. I'm more into thrash metal, hence why I am.
As am I.
This kind of sounds like angsty teen music. I'm not too sure, but I don't want to call it that.
It's like that, but the next level of that.
Oh, okay.
It's not
so
pop
edgy.
punk.
So it's edgy teen music, not angsty teen.
Edgy. I don't know if he knows the difference.
How about you, moms? What do you moms think? It's okay. It's okay if you don't have an opinion on this. It is totally fine. I just want to be sure that we kind of do our best to make sure that it has. We just want to know what your opinions are, even though you may not have one.
Thanks for including us. It's not,
of course,
not really our genre of music.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we might like it. I like the snake on the cover.
Yeah, we do visuals here because we want to be sure that people get an actual decent taste on what's on music and what's going on and that kind of thing. So yeah.
So Cody, I know I am furry trash as well. The title to Aggressive does actually has the singer's face on one side with like bloody mouth and a wolf on the other side. So
oh Lord.
Yeah. So a wolf, not a fox. I'm sorry, but
so yeah,
that is all for music. We're gonna go into video games now with Naka.
So just real quick, before I begin with Naka, I understand that you ladies are not a fan of video games, but if that's the case, and we do understand, we'll just turn the question in. Do you think this is something that your kids would play?
Okay.
All right. Does that sound good to you, Naka?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, cool. Why don't you get started?
Roll the cartoon.
Wait, what's going on?
In this week's
Da, da, da,
episode
da,
of the
da,
NASCAR
da,
/ Motorsports update, we have Kyle Busch winning the Federated Auto Parts 400 at Richmond Raceway last night, with notable drivers that are on the cutoff bubble for the round of 16 playoffs in the NASCAR Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Clint Bowyer, Jimmy Johnson, Eric Jones, and Denny Hamlin. They either need to win next week or have extremely good luck at the Bank of America 400 on the new Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, half road course, half oval track. Martin Truex Jr., my pick to win the championship, clinched a spot in the next round on points. The Xfinity Series playoffs are underway, with Christopher Bell winning the Go Bowling 250 at Richmond on Friday night. Thank you very much, Austin Cindric, for being yourself and wrecking the championship leader, Justin Allgaier. You're a very good person. I love your work. You're such a good driver. However, Bubble Crunch for that series will not happen until they race at the Roval next Saturday. And the Truck Series, Grant Enfinger and Justin Haley have clinched their way onto the next round. And the cutoff for their first round is on the 13th of October at Talladega, where both Ben Rhodes and Stewart Friesen have a chance to win, because anything can happen. And something I forgot to cover last week is that Scott Dixon won the IndyCar Championship at Sonoma, but it was overshadowed because NBC and NBCSN, their broadcasting was absolutely horrible. So it was a bit hollow, and if you want to know more about that, just go watch David Land's YouTube video on how bad the broadcasting was.
Yeah,
but
I think
so
I think the NFL today literally was like because I watched the Ravens game today and they won. They beat the Broncos. Yeah. And they tuned into the Saints Falcons game, which went into overtime. And then the announcers literally said, "Don't tweet at us." And then they're like, "It's not our fault. It's the league's fault." And then they switched to another game.
Right. So were you going to say something, Moms?
No, we were just listening.
Oh, okay. All right. So why don't we get into it?
This is my one bit every week that I can just talk about until like the middle / towards the end of November, and that's when it's all going to stop till February.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our one connection is that I went to a race at the aforementioned Richmond Raceway like 9 years ago. So my dad took me there. So
why don't we?
It was fun. It was fun.
Go ahead.
I used to live, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mooresville, North Carolina, but it's called Race City because that's where all the teams are.
Yeah.
It's like a suburb of.
I don't know if I've been there because I've been to Asheville, Weaverville, and what's it? Raleigh and Wilson.
Raleigh, right, with the Raleigh-Durham area.
Yeah.
But Mooresville is right where all the race teams are.
All right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So why don't we go ahead and get in with it, Naka?
All right. Something a little bit impromptu that there were no visuals that I just kind of added on like after the agenda was made. There were no visuals for this? No, there are visuals for this, but not for this specific one that I'm about to touch on briefly.
Okay.
So
Something else.
Forza Horizon 4.
Oh, that.
We're not going to be talking about it this week, even though
We're going to talk about it later.
we're going to talk about it next week when when the release date is actually within the next week.
Mm-hmm.
But for those who didn't order the Ultimate Edition, we'll have to wait till next week's show. Because those who did order the Ultimate Edition, who paid the $100, and it's a very well worth $100, you will be able to play it early access on the 28th, so this Friday. And those who aren't like a big Forza YouTuber like Mr. Arrow HD, please go subscribe to him. He's a great guy. And if you're not like a lucky big Forza community YouTuber, you already have access to it. But if you aren't, then you have to wait. But we will be talking about that next week. Onwards with the show with FIFA 19. Which is, yay, it's FIFA. You can tell that I don't like FIFA.
Soccer.
Well,
You don't like soccer.
Well, the soccer
I like
is fine.
I like soccer, except that Iceland decided to embrace the way of the Panzer and tank, which upset me and undoubtedly Nero as well, who is a native Icelander. But Germany at least put on a show. That's
All right.
But it's FIFA again. By the way, if you use a third party site to get more coins for to spend less money, you will be banned from online because EA is actually going to crack down on that. Yeah, because people spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the ultimate custom team packs to have their dream team or whatever. It makes no sense to me. You're just wasting hundreds of dollars on something meaningless when you already paid $100 for the gold edition.
Are you meaning to tell me that they're cracking down on microtransactions?
They're cracking down on third-party microtransactions. So
basically websites that allow you to get things, and if they
to get
catch
things
you,
cheaper.
Yeah, and if they catch you, they'll ban you. Basically.
Yeah. In the typical Electronic Arts fashion of the new millennium.
Yes.
And it's basically I covered this with NBA 2K19 a few weeks ago, but it's because it's EA and
right.
It's soccer. I'm not going to blame soccer for being the most popular sport in the world. I'm not going to blame, them making, FIFA games or soccer games because, it allows the players to actually play. It allows video game players to play as their own favorite team, their home team and everything like that. And that's fine. However, my issue is that they basically re-release games every single year, tweak one or two features, and call it's a brand new game, and they might upscale the graphics a little bit,
and then they add the championship edition or something.
And then they add the championship edition, which makes it way more expensive than it should be.
I think they only did that for Madden. They added the Hall of Fame edition or something.
The greatest of all time edition for Madden 18.
One of them had Antonio Brown and from the Steelers, and then the other one had a Cowboys player on it.
But I hate EA when they do this with their sports games because it's every year they come out with 6 sports games that are exactly like last year's except with new player rosters. And the Rams aren't in St. Louis anymore; they're in Los Angeles now, and it's the same thing with the Chargers. They're not in San Diego. They're in Los Angeles now. However, what it should be is you make one for a few years, you update it throughout those years, and then make another one, and then update it for a few years, and then make another one. That makes things so much easier, but no. Yeah. However, if you do want to cash in on FIFA 19 with an updated player roster and graphics that look the same as last year's, it releases on the 28th of September. For Steam, Xbox One, PS4, and the Nintendo Switch.
All right.
I'm not knocking soccer. I'm knocking, the people who make these games.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
I'm not knocking the players. I'm not knocking the players. Don't get me wrong.
I've only played FIFA once, and it was on the DS, and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, I tried playing. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of sports games. Moms, I do have a question, and I just want an honest answer. Are you soccer moms, not in the literal sense, but the figurative sense?
I'm a football mom.
I don't think I am.
Football what?
I don't.
Are you football for the upcoming Las Vegas Raiders? Because my friend who is a defected Bengals fan is now an Oakland Raiders fan.
No, that's not allowed. We're Bengals strong at my house. Come hell or high water.
I'm a Ravens fan. I'm still angry.
It's okay. It's I understand it's sad, but my husband's a Buckeye, so.
Yeah.
Let him know that they have never beaten Florida in a bowl game, and they never will. Mostly because Florida's never going to get a bowl game again.
Well, if it makes your husband feel any better, I'm a Steelers fan, and
yeah, and he sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. But anyway, do you think FIFA 19 is a game that your kids might play?
No, my kids are into the sports games.
No, mine are about you have to be hiding behind something and shooting somebody.
Okay.
So the Halo franchise, okay. Honestly, I think Halo's is the lesser violent of the shooters that have come out within the past 15, 20 years. Because you have Doom, it's super bloody, it's super graphic. Same with Wolfenstein. Call of Duty and Battlefield, they're less graphic, but they're still super violent. Meanwhile, Halo, you're mainly just shooting aliens with blue blood. And you're shooting laser cannons and everything. I'm not that's why my parents allowed me to play Halo when I was 7. And they know it's like, oh, it's a space shooter and everything. It's fine. You're not shooting real people. And we know you're not going to shoot real people because you're a smart kid and you're not going to do anything stupid.
Right, and shooting people is very stupid.
Yes, yes. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about FIFA 19.
Sorry.
Naka.
I'm done. Yeah. All right.
Okay, are you gonna move on?
Yes, I'm going to continue.
Okay.
To Valkyria Chronicles 4. It is a strategic tactical RPG finally releasing outside of Japan and more than just the PS4. You got a new class, the Grenadier, which can fire mortars at enemies, and if you have allies that can provide intel about the enemy, you'll be able to fire at the enemies without being seen. Stealth missions. Well, just stealth attacks. It's like a sneak attack in Earthbound, but whatever. It continues onward from the original game in the series and is set on the continent of Europa, where the Second European War is being fought. So it's got kind of realistic elements. It's also very fantasy, but the Atlantic Federation and Eastern Imperial Alliance are battling, and in a last-ditch effort to end the war, the Federation executes Operation Northern Cross. And as a part of it, Commander Claude Wallace and Squad E are sent in to fight the Imperial forces along with the Valkyria. It does seem interesting, and it comes out for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch on the 25th.
Just a quick question. Do you have to understand the entire plot to understand this game, or is this kind of like a standalone?
I think you could pick it up. I think you'll just be missing like certain bits of context and everything, and like bits from previous stories, but it would be fine.
Okay. I was just making sure. Do you think this is? I mean, I have a question for the moms. Do your kids love RPG games? And if you don't know what an RPG games, it's a role-playing game. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I think my kids would be totally into this, especially the younger guys.
Yeah,
You think?
I think so.
Yeah. And what about you, Cruz? Do you think this is a good game that you'd pick up, or is it kind of like?
I do. I don't know if I've heard of this series, but I do like that it combines the more of the looking down on the map and like seeing your division's strategy versus like down on the field strategy, because you don't always get a game that combines both of those. If you're either usually on the field or you're like on a board, like moving divisions here and there. But I think this game lets you do both, which I think is a cool thing for them to do. I don't know if I'll be able to. I mean, I have to pick and choose which games I can play, but this is one I definitely. There's a lot of games where I'm like, oh, this is cool, but I'm not really able to get it because there's so many other games I want to get. But I do think this one looks really cool. Yeah, and I was talking about the meme of Eli's face, like most recently, where he looks like totally distraught.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Valkyria Chronicles. Okay.
So I assume that allows me to move on to...
Yes.
And I have to make this very clear. The following is a non-profit fan-based parody. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super are all owned by Funimation, Toei Animation, Shueisha, and Akira Toriyama. Please support the official release.
Is that was it Hellsing Ultimate?
Please support the official release.
That is Dragon Ball Z abridged reference.
But is it by 4-star too?
Yes, it is Team 4-star.
I love
Go
4-star.
Naka. Go Naka.
But since I do watch Dragon Ball, at least everything from the Cell game, everything through the Cell Games arc in the Z Saga, this devolves with stuff past the Cell Games arc into GT and into Super. So there are major plot points that I actually kind of need to watch because it's been a long time since I've watched anything past the Cell Games arc. Let's see. I know at least Nappa returns. Hi. Hey, Vegeta.
Hey, Vegeta.
Along with Frieza, the Ginyus, and Cell. At least he did it his way. And
What about Beerus?
Beerus is still alive in, I believe he's still alive in Super. Again, I haven't watched that much of Super, so don't quote me on that.
All right.
But he is in the game. And man, Dragon Ball Z Abridged is a great parody series, and they are continuing it after the Cell Games arc, which is good. Anyway, however, I actually have played Dragon Ball FighterZ at PAX West last year, albeit a demo version, but it was really fun. And
It
now
does,
that
it does look dope.
now that it's coming out for the Switch on the 28th, I might have a reason to actually buy the full version because, hey Vegeta,
Yeah, I haven't been as
I have to protect
do
my
remember-
image.
I did see that one live action Dragon Ball movie, which I understand was not necessarily like what everyone was talking about, but I like the Dragon Ball series. I haven't seen like nearly enough of it, but the fighting game, I like the comic book kind of style it does, like the cartoony style, but it makes it look really good. I'm glad it's coming to Switch.
Yeah, but I do have to ask a question to the moms. Do your kids love anime?
Oh, my 12-year-old loves it. She is into all kinds of stuff that I don't even understand.
Oh.
My oldest is super into it. In fact, we went to SAC
We went to SAC Anime, yeah.
and he loved every minute of it. And I said, was it as fun as FurryCon? And he's like, the same. I love them both equally. And I had no idea he was that into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super fun.
So, do you think this is a game that your kids would like to play if given the
Yeah.
chance? Okay.
I think at least 2 of my kids would definitely love this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess. But yeah, that's. I don't know if I've never played any of the most anime fighting games. I know people are fans of it. It's just I don't really know how to get into it myself. But other than that, Dragon Ball FighterZ is really really cool. I'm pretty sure Sonic Fox, what's his name, is probably going to get it as well, since he's kind of a thing in the fandom right now.
Right.
Yeah, but
Sonic Fox, that guy.
yeah.
I think I saw one of his recent tweets. He's tweeted something about Skullgirls. He won
really?
that championship.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all I have to say for Dragon Ball FighterZ. And now we have to move on to the thing that moms definitely don't want us to watch.
Also, I kept looking up visuals for this, and I kept seeing the other game, which I have a
fractured butt hole.
Yeah.
BUT space WHOLE.
Fun little fact about that. The German title for that, the German title for fractured butthole apparently translates back to English as rectal tear.
Oh,
I don't know how I found that out, but that's apparently a thing.
Did
That's all I'm gonna say.
it get banned or?
No.
That's just the
translation.
Okay.
Because Germans are very literal,
So
that's what's going to be.
So yeah, Naka, why don't you move on to I think what everyone is kind of already knows what we're talking about.
Oh my god, fucking sweet guys! We're finally our original game's coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Isn't that awesome, guys? Yeah, Cartman, that's really awesome. But it's the South Park: The Stick of Truth is it's basically the fantasy RPG version of the Fractured Butthole, and I'm usually one for talking about the plot, but I'm not spoiling it because I've only seen bits and pieces of it, and I do want to play it even though it's been a few years since it's released anyway. Because speaking of South Park, the newest season premieres this Wednesday on the 26th, so keep that in mind if you are a fan of South Park.
That's the hashtag cancel South Park
Hashtag cancel South Park.
I love how meta they are about it. There's like, we don't give a fuck anymore.
Yes. It does come out on the Switch on the 25th, so on Tuesday for $29.99. And unlike EA, when it comes to their sports games, Ubisoft is actually not going to charge you full price for a re-release.
Oh, and just for the record, guys, the Stick of Truth is better than the Fractured Butthole. It's fact. It's like you can't really say.
I've only seen gameplay of the
Stick of Truth.
I've seen a little bit of that, but I've seen more of Fractured Butthole, and I'm like, okay, I might actually go and play Stick of Truth because I haven't seen it.
All right.
Not as much.
So I have to address the elephant in the room. Moms,
How do you feel about South Park?
You know very well how moms feel about us watching South Park, don't you?
I love South Park.
What? My mind is
tabled.
blown. I need that GIF right now where I think it's Tim or Eric. He's basically doing the blah when his like mind is just exploding. I'm at a loss for words. I cannot believe that you actually like watching South Park. I'm surprised. What do you have to say to this, Naka?
Yeah, okay, I'll say that when my eldest started watching it when he was younger, I was like, no. But that quickly went away because it's hilarious.
It's so funny. I mean,
my kids don't watch it, but
no, my kids don't watch it, but I mean, everything I do makes me laugh out of the It's so funny.
Naka, I'm at a loss for words. Are you? Yeah.
It's awful. It's just so great.
It's GIF.
I quote South Park often, actually.
Naka, what do you
Yes.
have to say about this?
Not a bed, it's taking beds.
No, I got a better quote. Please, can we just go back and get the Toshiba handy book? and then Cartman's mom goes, no.
You know what?
No.
Yeah, can we stop at dinner? Wow. Don't look to me once and times because I'm getting fat.
Everyone's going to be so disappointed.
I know.
I haven't
I'm-
watched a lot of South Park. I know more from the games than I do from the show, but I do know some South Park.
But yeah, Naka, what do you have to say about this? Because you've been quiet about this whole thing.
Bono hasn't taken the record for the world's biggest crap. He is the record for the world's biggest crap.
Yes, but I'm being dead serious.
Honestly,
I'm being dead
my
serious.
my mom was like, yeah, you know what? You're not. It's like you're a smart kid. You're 15. You can go ahead watch South Park. I don't care.
Oh, really?
I even had like one of the new episodes came out like a year or two ago, like during like one of the recent seasons. I was watching it like just downstairs. My dad was off on like a business trip or something, and my mom was just watching it and was like, "Wow, some of that's funny, some of it's gross, but some of it's really funny."
That is an accurate summary of the show, I guess.
Yes.
Some of it's gross. Some of it's funny.
What was your favorite episode of South Park? If you had to because my favorite episode was the Mormon episode where the Mormons come.
Oh, and I did see that Broadway show, which was fucking hilarious.
Oh,
The Book of Mormon.
the Book
was
of
so
Mormon.
funny.
It's so good. It's so
It is
good.
good.
You know, it's
Neutrogena, what are you doing here?
What could you repeat that? Could you repeat that, Carrie?
I said they make fun of Mormons because they're Mormons, the creators, or were. Yeah.
That would
Joseph Smith was called a prophet. Dum 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 dum. I can never get enough of that jingle. It's so hilarious. Yes, but yeah, that's all I have to say regarding South Park: The Stick of Truth. Now that it's on the Nintendo Switch, I actually kind of want to get it because I heard it's really, really good. But yeah, that's all I have. What?
Be careful, you fart on a lot of people in the games.
I don't care. I don't even care.
That's what I remember from. I know Scarfy hates this, but PewDiePie is saying it. It's just like he sees he can fart, and he's just like, "It's so childish," but he just keeps doing it anyway.
Yes, but that's all I have to say regarding South Park: Stick of Truth. Why don't we actually get into the news?
Let's get raw. No.
Let's actually get into something rather unfortunate that was a breaking story. Telltale Games, the creators of The Wolf Among Us, The Walking Dead series, Minecraft Story Mode, Batman, Tales from the Borderlands, they're
Batman
shutting.
Enemy Within.
They are shutting down. It was a very, very abrupt, very horrific announcement. The company has laid off 90% of its employees, some of whom were actually hired within the week, and is canceling all games in development. So The Walking Dead, the final season is done. No more Wolf Among Us 2. No more Stranger Things game. There is only a skeleton crew of about 25 employees that are sticking around to finish up a partnership with Netflix and Minecraft Story Mode, which is weird. As great as the games are, they just hemorrhaged money and didn't sell well enough to turn a profit. It's very sad to see these developers of such great games shut down so quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if you moms ever played, if your children ever played any of the Telltale games, and basically it's a story-driven game where you kind of choose, which path you want to go, and every playthrough has alternating paths. So, with this, it's very unfortunate because there was a lot of Telltale games like Game of Thrones and Batman Arkham, I think.
I think Arkham was a different game.
Okay.
Batman had Wolf Among Us. Batman had no. Let me start. That was a separate sentence. Batman,
Yes.
the enemy within was Telltale. Wolf Among Us was one that people wanted to see, but then they saw Minecraft was getting the game, and they're like, "What?" But I do have to note that I did see this from from Rooster Teeth that a bunch of other developers like DICE and Blizzard, some others have been reaching out to former Telltale employees to hire them, which I think is a really cool thing of them to do.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Actually, I had seen that too, and that was really impressive because the saddest thing is not that people aren't going to have these games to play, but that people lost their livelihoods. They still have families to take care of and mortgage. So.
And they're good developers. It's just the decisions by corporate that are kind of messing things up.
I haven't
played any of the Telltale games, but
I can only hope that the game designers will hopefully find another game publishing company, not Konami, because Konami is ass. I would hope that they would go to another gaming publisher that is very, very high spoken, and hopefully they'll be able to take them in. But you never know. It's a little unfortunate, I will have to admit. And I was kind of interested in the whole. I can't believe they were making a Stranger Things kind of Telltale games. And I need to ask you both.
I think there
do
already
you like
was
Stranger Things?
Oh yeah.
I think there already was a game like that. It wasn't from Telltale, but it was called Stories Untold.
Oh, okay.
It's very much, or one of the episodes of that heavily references The Thing.
Oh, okay.
Like
the John Carpenter film, yeah. So you two were fans of Stranger Things, and are you hoping? And I do have a question. Are you excited for season 3?
I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, I know.
Well, we're gonna zip our lips then.
Thank you.
I didn't know. I'm glad you guys brought it up.
Thank you. My son wants to watch it with me, so finding time for us to sit down together and watch a show is difficult. So I've purposely not watched it. But yeah, I'm one of those people like, don't tell me. I don't even want to know who's in the story. I want a surprise. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course, I will have to say one thing. If there's one thing that I can't get enough of, it's seeing that intro roll one more time every time the show starts. I love that intro so much of Stranger Things. The Stranger Things intro, I adore. I can't skip it. It's part of me, just like it's part of Naka and Cruz. But yeah, that's all I have to say for Telltale games. It's sad that they're shutting down. I hope that they, I hope it was a good run. That's really all I can say. And
we are going to move on to our final yet somewhat aggravating news of the week. Aggravating to me, anyway.
Okay.
Because I really, really want to like the micro consoles like the PlayStation Classic. I really do. But there's glaring issues I have with these first-party systems. You can't play your original cartridges or discs on them. Yes, you can hack into their firmware like with the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic. But why bother? Sure, with this new micro console, you get 20-hit PS1 games like Final Fantasy VII, Ridge Racer Type 4, Jumping Flash, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms, along with 2 controllers, an HDMI hookup, and upscaling. But you don't have your memory cards with your old saves on them, you don't get discs, and you don't have like the AC brick. You have to provide yourself the plug-in brick, however they do send the micro USB cable that plugs into the USB port. It's very strange, I don't know why they're doing that. However, the classic the classic original PS1 controllers are shipping with it, not like the DualShock controllers.
Well, I do have a question. Like, does it matter if they're DualShock or is it just kind of like
they wouldn't have all of the features of the DualShock in like the original PlayStation games?
Well,
I would imagine you'd be able to use them for the games.
I prefer the DualShock only because I prefer the big thumbsticks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only. I've played some Need for Speed on PS2, but I do prefer PS4 controllers.
Like, I'm the person that's all for like big thumbsticks. I wasn't really a fan of the Nintendo 64's tiny thumbstick made out of plastic that would burn your hand if you played Mario Party on it.
How to hold controller.
But
How to hold a trident of a controller.
But without the DualShocks, you're missing like analog controls with the thumbsticks, especially, and vibration in some games. And nobody knows if these controllers are gonna if you plug it into your PC, if they're gonna work or not, or if you can plug in another type of USB controller, say like an Xbox One wired controller or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of unknowns about it right now. But again, it's the glaring issue. You can't play your original games on there. That's my beef with these micro consoles. Sure, you can buy some second, third party at games console for the Genesis or an Atari console, and you can play your cartridges. However, there are emulation issues. It's still a novelty that you can play your old Genesis games, for example, but there's issues with the sound and the way the games play, but that's at least a step forward than these first party consoles. And the thing is with me is that I would prefer to play it on hold hardware, but when it comes to games that are super, super rare, like Earthbound, for example, because it didn't sell too well because it came with a player's guide, and it's honestly one of the best games of all time. I'm probably going to say that. Pretty much part of the only way you can play it now is either through Virtual Console on the Wii U and the 3DS, if it's even out on those platforms, or the Super Nintendo Classic, or if you want to go the not-so-legal way with emulating it.
Right.
And that's where I kind of see a market for these micro consoles, is that, you can play these niche games that you missed out on that are super rare to find.
Yeah.
And even unreleased games like Star Fox 2 with the Super Nintendo Classic. But, however, we're focusing on the PlayStation Classic here. My thing is that there's probably not going to be Gran Turismo 2. I'm probably figuring that, and I'm probably going to be smart about that, even though that is a 2-disc game.
If they did have it, you'd be very, very surprised.
I would be surprised, yes, but I wouldn't be able to...
That's not really enough for you to want to get this, though.
Not Gran Turismo 2. If they had Hot Wheels Turbo Racing and Test Drive 6 and Destruction and... some other test drive games and, other racing games because, herdy-dur, I play racing games for a living. I would be more keen to pick it up. And Ridge Racer Type 4 is actually a pretty good title anyway, but it will launch on December 3rd, the 24th anniversary of the launch of the original PlayStation, and will cost $100.
Okay, so Moms, I just want to give you a little glossary definition of what emulation is. Emulation basically means you can basically go online and download a program that allows you to basically play these classic games on your computer, or if you want, you can get a program that you can install on a hard disk or something like that you can put into your system and play it there.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah, that's cool.
It's for free. A lot of people consider this piracy, but I mean, once it's
because
and don't get me wrong, we don't
an issue with the
and don't get me wrong, we don't really condone piracy, but at the same time,
I'm fully against piracy.
But we do believe in FOSS, and that's free, open, and system software.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
we use open source stuff all the time. Yeah.
Yep. So it's just how it is, and it's not for the PlayStation Classic. It's not something that I'm interested. I don't know if your kids are interested in the PlayStation at all. If they know what if they have a PS4, if they ever use one, or
we had one. We unplugged it.
Okay.
They went to the Xbox One, and life changed forever.
Yeah.
Well, just for you do realize that your Xbox One can play Blu-ray, right?
That's part
and it also allows crossplay, unlike the PlayStation.
It allows crossplay.
Because they're selfish.
PlayStation is a bit selfish on that, but perks about the Xbox One. You have, you got the Blu-ray player, but you have crossplay with platforms like the Nintendo Switch and PC, which is very, very nice. And there's backwards compatibility, albeit for certain games, but it's free. You just have to own a copy of the game digitally, or have the disc of the original game that you're playing for not only the Xbox 360 and the original Xbox. However, the downside is...
I heard when they were trying to get me to buy it.
However, the downsides of owning an Xbox One is that you're missing out on Gran Turismo Sport, God of War, The Last of Us, the Uncharted franchise, and
because
the new
those are
Spider-Man
Sony games.
And the new Spider-Man game.
Because those are Sony titles.
Because they are great Sony exclusives.
I do have to say, God of War and Spider-Man look fucking amazing.
Yeah.
As games.
Yeah. But I will ask. But I will ask. I will ask the moms just to clarify. If I mean, like, I got my PS4, and one of the reasons why I got it was because it can play Blu-ray, which Blu-ray is expensive, so you're kind of getting more bang for your buck that way. And yeah, I got the PS4. I don't know if I'll ever get the PlayStation Classic, and I know that Xbox is more of your thing, so it is what it is. But hey, it's there.
Yeah, Moms of Furries are on Team Xbox.
Yeah.
Get wrecked, son.
I mean, to be fair, Death Squared, when it originally launched on March 14th, 2017, it originally only launched on Steam and Xbox One because...
March 14th. It should say the day that crabs fries.
But
Yeah.
because Xbox is actually very good with their with certain indie developers, and that basically allowed Death Squared to come out to a console market. That was basically their first console game. And, I got to praise SMG Studios for taking me to PAX for 2 years in a row, but it was their first console game. They later opened it up to PS4, and then even later on to the Switch. And,
Yeah.
it's it's probably their most successful title.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I just want to clarify. I'm not really team Xbox One. I'm more team Atari 2600.
OG teams.
I will give them that. How about you, Naka?
Or
Yeah,
team
I
OG
respect that.
consoles.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll work. I really do appreciate that. But is that all for your news, Naka?
That is all for my news. Let's go continue on with some...
My first console was
Interesting
actually
movies.
the GameCube I got when I was 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
We still have Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
We still have.
I played the Nintendo 64 at a friend's house because he had it. I didn't have it.
yeah.
Let's not forget Wii.
Oh, Wii was really good.
The Wii.
I liked it.
I like the Wii.
Boop. Bum, 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 bum.
But anyway, Naka.
Anyway, let us move on to your movie news. And hopefully it does not take as long as the question section.
Well, I mean, we might as well get started. Anyway, I can't believe I forgot to put this trailer on our return episode, but wow, what an interesting concept. Hellfest is an upcoming American slasher film directed by Gregory Plotkin, the screenplay by Seth M. Sherwood, Blair Butler, and Akilah Cooper from a story by William Pennick, Christopher Say, and Steven Susko. The film stars Amy Forsyth, Bex Taylor Claus, Rain Edwards, and Tony Todd. A masked serial killer turns a horror-themed amusement park into his own personal playground, terrorizing a group of friends while the rest of the patrons believe that it is all part of the show. Not gonna lie, that's pretty creepy and a very clever concept. I looked up Gregory Plotkin, and he was best known for editing most of the Paranormal Activity films, Game Night, Happy Death Day, and editing probably one of the biggest films of last year, Get Out, which if you haven't seen Get Out, my God.
This movie in particular reminds me of one that my friend showed me called The Houses October Built, which has a similar premise, except that the people don't know that someone's, after them.
Yeah.
And they keep going on to other, festivals like this, and eventually they figure things out, and yeah.
All right, so here's his directing and editing, so it'll be cool to see what editing skills can do. As for his directing, however, that remains to be seen. But hopefully the movie, despite me not being a huge fan of slasher movies, is just as good as the trailer. However, only time will tell. That being said, the film releases September 28th. Moms, I do apologize, but I need to bring this up. I know that you said earlier that you didn't watch any of the trailers, and I just hope that you'll get a sense to what we're talking about at least.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm in. I would watch this movie.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Carrie-
you're already more daring than my mom is.
I'll watch anything.
yeah. I'll try.
I had to go see The Conjuring when I was 17 with some of my friends.
I mean, I've seen some stinkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I mean, it's a thing,
Horror films are often hit or miss, but
Yeah.
I have to say this year, Hereditary, really good.
Yeah, Hereditary was.
If you haven't seen that, it was really good.
And as for
It
you,
was
Nako,
so
would you see this movie, or do you like the premise of it at least?
I like the premise of it because it reminds me of a Jimmy Neutron episode.
I love so many.
Oh, which one?
It's the one where they sneak into the theme park after hours. And
I know exactly which episode you're talking about.
Are we talking about her salami leg, your salami leg, or his salami leg?
Carl's shoes?
Or Carl's shoes.
I think I remember that. I think I remember that. Oh, I would have to see it again to be sure. But
are you talking about her salami leg, his salami leg, your salami leg, or
oh,
Carl's
yeah,
shoes?
The salami leg, the salami leg, the salami leg.
Yeah, but do you have?
That's what it reminds me of. That's mainly why I want to go see it. Is just because of the joke that was that of the hilarity that was that episode.
Yeah, you were laughing like a brainstorm in that episode, weren't you?
Yeah.
Got a blast.
But yeah, that's all I have to say regarding Hellfest. Is there anything that you moms want to say at least?
Thumbs up. We haven't seen
Okay.
the video.
All right.
It's something we're gonna at least check out.
Okay. And all right. So do we want to move on?
Yes. Let's move on to a crappy movie.
All right. Kevin Hart, you're funny, but why are you doing this movie?
Why?
Night School is an upcoming American comedy film directed by Malcolm D. Lee and starring Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Rob Riggle, Taran Killam, Romani Malco, Keith David, and Loretta Devine. Hart also produces the film alongside Will Packer, as well as co-wrote the script. The plot, if I can even call it that, centers on a group of troublemakers who are forced to attend night school and hope that they'll pass the GED exam to finish high school. I'm going to look up this director and see what, I'm
going to see what.
Actually directed some pretty decent movies here, which include The Best Man Holiday, Barbershop The Next Cut, and Girls Trip. Granted, they're nothing Oscar worthy or anything, but yeah, they have really warm ratings here. I'm quite surprised. This is not what I was expecting. But let's deal with this first. The reason why I was skeptical about Night School is because it stars Kevin Hart, and don't get me wrong, I love me some Kevin Hart, but that's all he plays. His character being the comedian, and he never seems to really take a step of trying to be something other than being Kevin Hart or a different character altogether. He's funny, most definitely, but I kind of want more than just that. I think I would have appreciated a bit more if the film didn't have 6 writers. 6. It's really hard to make a good product if your co-writers don't keep in continuity with the script. However, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not really out of my way to go see this movie. If anything, I'll wait until an official release comes out for it. But the director is at least giving me an idea of how this film will be released because his other films were pretty strong. So at least there's that. The film releases on September 28th. What do you guys have to say? Naka?
I honestly, just do not give a good goddamn about this movie.
I'm sorry to hear that. And how about you?
It just doesn't
Bruce?
interest me. Wow, somebody dropped out of high school. Oh, I need to go get my GED because my business blew up and I don't have any more money. It's like
it doesn't really matter what the situation is. It's just that Kevin Hart can be in it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what you. I think this movie was really just they had to think of something to put Kevin Hart in, and they're like, okay, this would be funny, which they're not really wrong, but if that's all you're making the movie about, then that's kind of like, well, that's if you miss that mark, then it's kind of like egg on your face. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, why don't we moms, do you have anything to say regarding this movie?
I do. Actually, an unpopular opinion. I agree that Kevin Hart is pretty much the same in every movie. But I look forward to seeing this movie, Night School, because the woman that plays the teacher, that Haddish, I don't remember her first name, she's hilarious. And she stole the show in the movie Girls Trip. She said the craziest stuff. So I want to see it just because she's hilarious.
Fair enough. I don't have any problem with that. What do you think, Naka?
I respect your opinion. I didn't see Girls Trip, so I can't really say much.
I don't know. I feel like I vaguely recognize the Haddish, but
this movie is kind of reminding me of another movie. Crazy Rich Asians. Did you see that movie? Because that movie was really good.
They went to see it without me.
I want to see it.
We should go see it.
We're gonna have to go see it because I know the ratings are
It
really
looks
high.
so good. They said even the middle guy said it was really good.
Yeah. All right, so that's all I have to say about night school. Now, moms, I want you to prepare yourself for this because as soon as you see the poster of the next one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay?
It's a
LeBron
kid's film.
James.
Okay, no, that has nothing to do with it. But
LeBron
anyway,
James.
Dogs.
Yeah.
He's
Um,
in the movie.
oh boy, we're about to go. We're about to go here, aren't we? Looks like it's time to make Small Steps with Smallfoot, an upcoming American 3D computer animated musical film produced by Warner Animation Group. The film is co-written and produced by Carrie Kirkpatrick and with co-direction by Jason Razik, based on the book Yeti Tracks by Sergio Pablos. The film stars the voices of Channing Tatum, James Corden, Zendaya, Common, LeBron James, Gina Rodriguez, Danny DeVito, Yarosh,
LeBron James has nothing to do with it, right?
Ellie Henry, and Jimmy Tatro.
Does
I
Danny
didn't-
DeVito say egg in the movie? Because that is
No.
going to be the saving grace.
No.
Danny DeVito in the M&M's commercial, though.
In
Was
a twist
amazing.
in a twist on Legends, Migo, played by Channing Tatum, is a Yeti who is convinced that the elusive creature known as the Smallfoot, or in this case the human, really does exist, where he encounters a former TV personality named Percy Patterson, played by James Corden. Oh, James Corden. Anyway, first off, I need to talk about the director.
Sell out. What?
Carrie Kirkpatrick has a very established resume, particularly his screenplays. And I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of his films that he has been a part of, which is why I'm gonna list a few of the ones that I've seen. And moms, I'm pretty sure that the second I named the list of these films, you've seen these films as well. The Rescuers Down Under, James and the Giant Peach, Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, Chicken Run, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Over the Hedge, From Up on Poppy Hill, The Secret World of Arietti. And again, that's just to name a few. Now, for this trailer that is advertising the film, I don't want to say the film is going to be that bad or one of the worst expected movies. I'm pretty sure the film will be 100% serviceable. Is it something that I want to see as of yet? No. I'd probably wait for the ratings on this as well. Is it something for your kids? Yes. And while it's not Pixar or Disney material, hey, at least it's probably better than the Emoji Movie. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, you're right. I will
The Emoji Movie is it's just not a movie.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the only thing I've seen was it was a 6-minute video on YouTube, and it's the Emoji Movie but without emojis, and it's 6 minutes long.
Yeah, they do that. All in all, the film releases on September 28th. Moms, I'm pretty sure you saw a trailer of this movie.
Yeah, it's already on my list. We're definitely gonna see it. We should see it at the drive-in.
Wait. Let me hear this. Back up. Let me hear this correctly. You have a drive-in theater where you guys live.
Yes,
We do.
Oh my
Man.
gosh! I always wanted to go experience that type of thing.
Here's the thing. I went by a drive-in theater because one of the top 2 schools I went to that I was looking at, not the top 2 schools in ranking, but the final choices. One of them was Marist, which is in Poughkeepsie, New York. And we passed by a drive-in theater, and I was like, I've never actually seen one in person before. And it was like, wow.
So I'm just going to say,
do it.
doing an invitation now. Whoever comes to BLFC next year, let's do a night at the drive-in.
Please.
Absolutely.
I
would
would
love to do that.
Would you love to do that, Naka?
That'd be so
If
much
I have
fun.
the time.
Oh, it's
And the-
so fun.
But yeah, that's but anyway, Smallfoot.
my beef-
This isn't a movie that I want to see, but Naka Cruz, do you want to see this movie? And I'm just,
My beef with
This movie, no, but some
Can-
other movie.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Naka.
My beef with this movie is that it's basically Horton Hears a Who, but except it's a little bit different. Is that one guy is basically going crazy, and because there's this human that actually exists, but nobody believes the Yeti, and nobody believes the Who, and nobody believes the elephant that the Who's actually exist, and it's basically, to put a long story short, it's basically Horton Hears a Who 2 Electric Boogaloo. However,
I'm-
with the director directing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy previously, that is on Netflix. If you have a Netflix account, go watch that movie. It is so good.
Yes, I really enjoyed that movie
Oh,
too.
God.
But I will have to say, Moms, it is so astounding that you'll watch anything furry. I do hope that you watch all the furry stuff that we listed here tonight, of course.
We will, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Smallfoot. Now let's actually move on to some
And you were giving me shit about how LeBron James wasn't edited. Fuck me. Involved in this. I'm a Wizards fan, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm more in tune to Gators basketball even. And I know LeBron James was in it, okay?
All right, so let me move on to our final trailer. And Moms, I hope you read this one because this one I think is probably the best that we have for this week.
Oh yeah, definitely,
absolutely.
hands down. I want to go see this one.
Yeah, the old man and the gun. All right, folks, this is probably the best trailer out of all of them, and for good reason. The Old Man and the Gun is a 2018 American crime comedy film written and directed by David Lowery. The film is based on the true life story of Forrest Tucker, a career criminal and prison escape artist. The script is based on the David Grant's 2003 article in the New Yorker titled "The Old Man and the Gun," which was later collected in Grant's book *The Devil and Sherlock Holmes*. It stars Robert Redford, Casey Affleck, Danny Glover, Tika Sumpter, Tom Waits, and Sissy Spacek. It is reportedly Redford's final role as he announced his intent to retire from acting in August 2018, which is a bit sad, but let's move on to the plot. The film centers around the man of Forrest Tucker and his audacious escape from the San Quentin at the age of 70 to an unprecedented string of heists that confounded authorities and enchanted the public with his endearing charms and his handsome appeal.
I have a quick little thing.
Okay.
You say San Quentin? Apparently, that's where Metallica filmed Saint Anger, if I remember correctly.
San Quentin, yes, I did. But anyway,
San Quentin.
Yeah. But, all right. First off, one thing you may notice is that the film is shot in analog. Now, you may be asking, well, what is analog? Analog is a type of camera that uses film strip as opposed to digital. What does this mean? The film is shot with an old-fashioned camera, as opposed to the new age cameras, a dying art form that still manages to captivate audiences, where the film is then scanned and digitized to the current generation for quality resolution. The film looks gorgeous. I can't think of another oldies way of shooting a film. And for Robert Redford's last film, I hope this will be his love letter to his acting, before he actually comes back to work again. But hey, let's stick to his word. David Lowery was well known for directing the Disney reboot of Pete's Dragon. So hopefully this film will be just as good, if not better, since it's shot wonderfully, acted brilliantly, and probably has just the right amount of flair to it. The film releases September 28th, if any of you are interested, because I sure am. Like, what do you have to say about this, Naka?
The fact that it's shot on analog, and I actually did some like SLR photography when I was in 9th grade, actually developing film.
I did too.
It's very interesting, and it's
it's meticulous.
It's meticulous, but it's also unfortunately a dying art, and I hate to say it. But film in analog, that's something you don't hear about anymore.
Well, well, you also have to look at films like Quentin Tarantino. He only shoots his film in analog. He doesn't ever do.
Well, yeah, because I think that's part of his style too. It gives him the old school Western vibe.
Some films are still shot in analog. Like, for instance, if you haven't seen Phantom Thread, that was also shot in analog.
There you go.
Phantom Thread was I believe what was his name? Daniel Day-Lewis's magnum opus after his retirement. So, but yeah, you were saying, Naka, that not only is this film shot in analog, but what else?
I mean, the plot is just very interesting about how it's a guy that, went on several heists and that basically just baffled, authorities and communities. And that stuff kind of really interests me. I was only 4 when this thing happened, so I wouldn't know much about it, but, I would definitely go see this movie, then read up about actually The Old Man and the Gun. I'd go read the article.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, do you have anything to say regarding this film, Moms of Furries?
Yeah, the cast alone is enough
you had
to.
Me at Robert Redford.
Well, or Sissy Spacek or Tom Waits.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it should be amazing.
Yeah.
To stick with my adjective.
I would see anything that Robert Redford did.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
And what do you have to say regarding this cruise?
As I just did quickly look it up, San Quentin, that I can confirm that is where Metallica shot that music video for Saint Anger. Yeah, just had to look that up interesting little story because this is something that's coming up. Soulfly is coming up with an album called Ritual, and they went to Monument Valley, which is where Matag shot a music video for I Disappear. But back to the movie, I know the name Robert Redford. I don't think I've seen many of his films, but I feel like he's vaguely familiar. And this movie in particular, I do think it looks like something I'd actually be interested in because I do have a thing for those like classy kind of Wild West villains, I guess. Well, not really a villain in this case, but like, you know, I guess kind of like Doc Holliday kind of thing, which again,
Yeah.
Full Beat has that song about Doc Holliday. So
Yeah.
just
But,
like an outlaw.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for visuals tonight, isn't it, guys?
Yep, that is it.
All right,
Move
why don't
on
we
to coming
Why don't-
trailer updates and coming attractions, I should say. Sorry for stealing your bit.
It's okay. Why don't we move on to our trailer updates now? I'm going to introduce a new thing we have never done on this show. Trailer updates. Basically what these are is basically trailers that have been updated to talk more about the plot as opposed to just teasing you in the sense. So if Beale Street could talk, a woman in Harlem desperately scrambles to prove her fiance innocent of a crime while carrying their first child. Fun fact, Moms of Furries, If Beale Street Could Talk is directed by Barry Jenkins, the same guy who directed the critically acclaimed Moonlight, which won the Oscars of 2016.
No.
In a
That was
fluke
La La
announcement.
Land.
In a
Yeah,
fluke announcement.
it was La La Land, remember?
is the subject of that whole thing.
But yeah, if Beale Street Could Talk, it is based off the book, off the James Baldwin book. So I'm really hoping that this movie will be good. I'm not too sure if you've seen the trailer, but if you ever get the chance to look at the trailers after the show, hey, I mean, it's still there if you guys still want to watch it. What do you have to say about this, Moms?
I mean, it sounds interesting to me. I think it's interesting, like she's carrying their first child. So I don't know.
One thing I need to tell you about this is that this is a thing that we called a log line. What log lines do is that we only give you like a sentence of the entire plot of the movie because we're not reviewing the whole entire trailer until like a week during its release.
It's also kind of like the thing if you open a book and then you see the summary that's in like the publisher section. It's like
yeah, it's kind of like that. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then our next trailer, Ralph Breaks the Internet, which I'm pretty sure both of you are so excited about. After an arcade game is broken, a couple of popular video game characters enter the world of the modern day internet to find
He's gonna save the memes in the European Union.
A repair piece capable of saving the game. And I'm pretty sure both of you are super excited for this movie, aren't you?
Watch it, yeah.
And how about you, Knock? Are you excited?
Yes. I saw the first one, loved it, and wanted to see the second one. Hopefully there's actual, good memes in here.
What do you have? Well, they're already using Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, so.
Yes, but I need more.
And a little more than that.
And are you gonna see this, Cruz?
I still have to see the first one, but I've seen clips of the first one, but I'm like, okay, I could get into this, but then I'm like, I think in my mind, some of the things is that the film was trying too hard to get you to see it. I'm like, if people were going to see it, they would see it, but
right.
I that's not to say it's bad. I don't think I have no reference to say if it was bad or not, but hopefully that if Ralph breaks the internet, then that means that memes are going to be saved in the EU because the EU has officially banned memes. If you're in Europe, sorry, you're not allowed to meme. Freedom of speech, right? What?
Yeah. Well, why don't we move on to our actual coming attractions?
Hold on. You speak of memes. There's something that I must show all of you, and it's going to take a while before. Hopefully, did the file actually save? Oh, please tell me it saved. Please tell me. Here we go.
Oh, what's going on?
Oh, I'm just going to show you the best image I've ever found on the internet ever. It's not going to show up for a little bit, but I'm just going to leave it up screen for a while, and I need you to take that in. I want memes on this kind of level in Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph Breaks the Internet. If you catch my drift, because I am Lord Shitposter when it comes to this.
Yes, you are.
Is it going to be Bongo Cat?
It is not Bongo Cat, however. It is something involved.
I love Bongo Cat.
It is. That's a great meme. Don't get me wrong.
I love it.
I could get into meme discussions about this, but just wait about 15 or 20 seconds.
What the fuck is that?
Oh my goodness.
It's so
It's like
good.
he's cranking the sausage thing, just like.
But why is he cranking sausage?
It's so good. Look at the Photoshop. Look at his mouth.
That looks like a PG version of what my friend in high school would make on Photoshop.
Oh my goodness.
Look
You're
at the
totally
And I
mouth.
say
right.
PG version because he would make some like abominations on fucking.
Do you see the picture, moms?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
Um,
man, that is what the internet likes to call a cursed image, and they are beautiful.
Yeah.
You're a purveyor of the cursed images.
Yes.
Anyway, can we move on to our coming attractions?
Especially cursed toilets, but continue.
All right. We're going to pull that picture off, and we're going to talk about coming attractions. The Oath, and I put RB. RB stands for Red Band Trailer. So yes, this is a trailer you will have to see if you're over 18. I'm sorry, but
Or YouTube. All YouTube says is like, "Are you willing to proceed?" And you just have to click yes.
yes. In a politically divided America, a man struggles to make it through the Thanksgiving holiday without destroying his family.
Also, how
yeah.
I felt through the past 3-4 years.
Yeah, I love
Thanksgivings.
that this movie takes that to the extreme where it's like you have to make sure you don't kill your family versus like just basically not getting into an argument.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a
So,
dark comedy, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, this is what do you have to say about this, moms? I know you haven't seen any of these trailers, but hey.
I mean, it sounds like the kind of thing I'd see.
I would
Okay.
watch it. Yeah. From
Okay.
that.
All right, so do you want to move on to our next coming attraction?
Yes. Let's move on to Abbott and Costello.
Who's on first?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, third race.
Stan and Ollie, a slapstick comedy duo, attempt to reignite their film careers as they embark on what becomes their swan song, a grueling theater tour of post-war Britain.
Don't you mean
Moms,
post-war
I'm-
Britain?
Well, you know what I mean.
It's post-war Britain. It's got to be after 1945, right?
Well, I said post-world, but I don't know. I'm just you gotta come on. Just give me a break. Anyway,
We look like in the post-American world.
but anyway, moms, I'm not too sure if you are a fan of Abbott and Costello. If you ever saw them.
Totally.
Oh,
Yeah. So
We're
basically.
old.
Yeah, so basically this trailer is basically what you think of if you saw Abbott and Costello, but it's a different set of people. So hopefully you will get a kick out of this trailer once you do get the chance to see it. But yeah,
Making gun and all of that.
yeah. Airplane.
do you like
But they're
Do you
British,
like-
so they say Tallywhacker.
would you see this trailer? I mean, would you see this movie? Would you see this movie Naka and Cruz and of course the moms?
Yeah. I mean, I like slapstick comedy. That's basically what Tom and Jerry is.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, and this is kind of going deeper into that, being like, you realize people have to, kind of keep up a reputation underneath that, and they had a little bit of a rivalry, it seemed in the trailer, but in the end, they kind of like, okay, yeah, we're in this together.
Yeah.
I think I forget the other actor's name, but it's the big guy,
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. Yeah, he's really diversified his roles from just a regular drunk guy in movies. He's really diversified his roles, and I think he's going to do well in this movie. So,
Well, he'll do
I
well
think
in
this is
Wreck-It
gonna be
Ralph,
funny.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to our next trailer, which moms, let's be honest, you guys are gonna go see this, aren't you?
Nope.
Yes.
Yawdy doody,
Yeah.
yawdy doody,
No,
yawdy doody
yes.
daw. I'm flying with an umbrella.
Mary-
I'm going
Mary
to watch
Poppins,
all
yo.
your children, and
Mary-
I'm not going to get paid.
Guys, Mary Poppins returns. A magical nanny returns to help a family's siblings and the children through a difficult time in their lives. It's basically a continuation of the original classic film. Hopefully, and I do mean this in a traditional sense, hopefully this movie will live up to its hype.
Impossible.
Oh, really? May I
Absolutely
please hear your
impossible.
opinions, moms?
I mean, it's
Mary Poppins is a classic. Leave it alone.
I hate how they redo anything.
I hate they're gonna ruin it. It's a
it's
terrible.
not a redo, but it's a sequel. It's a very
Right.
late sequel.
Franchise.
Let me make this clear, moms. It's not a reboot, it's a sequel of the original.
Eh.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a late
We'll
sequel.
see.
It's kind of like Incredibles 2.
Naka, what do you have?
Except twice as long. I think.
Naka, I'm pretty sure you liked the first Mary Poppins, didn't you?
Not a huge fan of Mary Poppins, gotta be honest.
Oh.
Not
And
a
how about
huge
you,
fan.
Cruz?
I will say,
take.
I wish it the best success, and whoever wants to go see it should go see it, and I hope they have a great time. But it's just not my movie.
And how about you? And how about you, Cruz?
Cruiser. I do like that they have the actor from the James Bond movies who that guy who kind of looks almost exactly like my cousin who's an attorney. I like that they're kind of like they're like, what the hell? You've come back after the whole thing of like they had to bear the house down after the guys on the roof wanted to launch a cannon or something.
Yeah.
That was the funniest part to me of the movie. But I'm hoping that they can. I think I'm glad that what they did in the trailer is they didn't seem to give away too much of the quote unquote magic of Mary Poppins, which is from the original of her reflection in the mirror staying. I mean, I think they assumed that people knew that was a thing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they can either keep that interesting or innovate on that to make it a little bit more interesting, because that is the one upside of making like far, like late updated movies that is that you can get new tricks to play with. I'm hoping that they do, cash in on that.
All right. And why don't we get into our next coming attraction? And moms, honestly, this was one of the coming attractions that I really wished you saw before the show, because I know, but you'll be able to see it after. So at least there's that. But yeah, Mirai, or in the Japanese term, Mirai. A young boy encounters a magical garden which enables him to travel through time and meet his relatives from different eras, with guidance by his younger sister from the future. Now, a Japanese lesson for you guys. Mirai means future in Japanese.
Well, there you go.
And yeah. And if you guys don't know, it's directed by Mamoru Hosoda. And if you don't know who that is that he directed films such as The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Summer Wars, and Wolf Children.
Ooh.
And
I haven't heard of any of these movies.
Yeah,
Children? What the hell?
Yeah, and if you haven't seen these movies, moms, you really owe yourself to see these, because Cruz, what did you think about watching this teaser trailer? Because by God, when it reaches 43 seconds and you see the camera turn on this boy's just face, what did you think about that?
This is like, I mean, not to say that this Studio Ghibli is like the only authority on this, but it was very much like a Studio Ghibli film in the way that
it's directed. It's by Studio Chizu, actually. But yeah, I do.
But it's in the way that those studios can kind of craft this fantastical tale out of something that's so simple, and make it into a whole story, even without making it something like Howl's Moving Castle or what's the one I went to see in theaters, Princess Mononoke, or something like. I went to see that in theaters, was really good. But without getting into those whole fantastical elements, but just keeping it simple, that films can do that and make it into something that's a full feature. I think that's really impressive. I really did like this trailer, and I think it's something I'm going to be really interested to see if I'm able to.
And how about you, Naka?
Oh, don't get me wrong. The animation is great. The plot's great. I would just never go into a garden in the first place. I hate yard work.
But
I'll mow the lawn because that actually involves an engine, but that's about it. But actually, no, it seems very interesting. But time travel is just very, very complex, and it gets very weird at times.
But considering from the guy who's directed some masterpieces, you think it'll work out well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that is it for that one. Now, guys, brace yourself, because moms, I'm pretty sure you saw. I am pretty sure that you saw Avengers: Infinity War, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you both enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
all right.
like we're supposed to be.
Yeah. Matt, just like we're supposed to.
I don't know how you're supposed to. Well, everyone had different reactions to the end. Like me, I mean, for me, it was the spoiler alert. Wee. If you haven't seen the movie by now, but the Spider-Man thing of when he was with Tony Stark, because for me, I realized that Tony Stark was kind of his father figure at that point, and when he was realizing that he was dying, he was like, "I don't want to go." That kind of got to me.
But anyway, let's move on to. Let's pretty much move on to what I think is our generation of Marvel's generation of Wonder Woman. Captain Marvel, a woman becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes when Earth is caught in the middle of a galactic war between two alien races.
Samuel L. Jackson's character has hair and glasses and two eyes.
And she inexplicably punches an old woman in the face, which made people on Twitter angry.
But yeah, I do have to ask you, fine folks, moms, did you see Wonder Woman?
Did you? Not. Yeah.
Really?
It was really good. It was good for a DC film. I'll say that.
Well,
I thought it was great.
For Captain Marvel, I do hope that you see this movie because Captain Marvel is basically the prequel before all those other Super Marvels came into play. So before Iron Man, which was the very, very first MCU film, MCU is Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The 2008 Iron
this
Man.
takes place in the 1990s, and basically, if you don't, I'm pretty sure you stayed until the very end of Avengers: Infinity War. Did you?
I did.
All right. So if you guys don't, basically, Captain Marvel is the prequel to all the other superhero films. In the next Avengers film, which will come out next year, which I'm pretty sure everyone is going to be going, and which everyone is going to go see.
It's kind of like a fact of life at this point, because
Captain Marvel will be in the next Avengers film next year after Captain Marvel. So are you two excited to see this trailer and excited to see this movie?
I would see it.
Yeah.
I like to see women in the power roles, but I don't want it just because it's a current topic that people are jumping on. It has to be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's part of the thing in my mind, because I'm like, I have no problem with it, because this was actually a joke about Wonder Woman. It was a joke that someone said about Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman gives the wrong message to our kids. It's like, and like the first response was, what, that women can be strong and independent? And then the response was, no, that DC makes good movies. So yeah, that's my stance on it. But I'm hoping this is good, and I'm excited to see what steps they take to incorporate it into Avengers. And an interesting perspective I saw was that someone was hoping that this was not what Captain Marvel would not be what Superman was to Justice League, because it's like, oh, we can't do this without Superman kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
People were hoping it's not that, and I agree with that, because like, I'm hoping that Captain Marvel can obviously do a lot to help, but I'm hoping it's not all resting on her, because it would just kind of be like a cop-out in my mind, but just as a plot point. But no,
what do you have to say regarding this film, Naka?
Oh, I am very excited to see it now that it actually is going to tie into Infinity War somehow.
That ending really left you on edge, didn't it? Naka?
What? Yes.
I said. Oh, yeah, I did. And that is it for our coming attractions, ladies and gentlemen. I will have to say. I will have to say 1 second. It's just this show, I think, has been probably one of the best shows we've ever had with you fine people on it, and I'm just gonna say thank you so much for coming tonight and being part of our show. You didn't have to do this at all. You could have just said no. But the fact is that I just want to say thank you so much.
Oh, we're really grateful that you asked us to be part of it. We were glad to be part of it.
We had fun.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that I'm glad that you had fun. Naka, what do you think? Do you think that this is going to be one of the best shows to go down in history as one of our best shows?
Absolutely. It doesn't have the meme of you can punch real Nazis.
Yeah.
But
I know we're not monetized, but I'm like, you put that in the title, and that's already means that YouTube automatically will probably hate us. But I mean, it does. It's not like it's like when I talk to Zach on Z and Z, it's like it doesn't matter. But I do think that Moms of Furries is a fellow up and coming YouTuber and YouTuber,
just like we're fellow upcoming YouTubers.
We've been up and coming for the past 3 years. Shut up. But
trust me, we've been doing our best to make our show really well.
I do wish them the best. I'm really glad that they've come around at the time that they did, because we need that kind of perspective to weigh in on current topics. And I do appreciate the last video you made about like the positive influence in the fandom and how people are going to be, that kids are going to be. This is going to be some kids' first impression of the fandom of what they see now, and so that's how the next generation is going to see us. So,
and I will have to say, I will have to say, Moms, you really enjoyed being on the show, and I saw you nodding when we were talking, and it almost gave us like a sense of impression that wow, these guys are really good, and I don't want to mean like we're trying to take a point of vanity here, but at the same time, it's like I could see that you guys were really enjoying yourselves, and
we have been, and
I mean, if we can brag that they said that we are the most professional people that they've said they've worked with, I mean, that's a tall order. That's a real tall order. That's close.
We thought everything was done very professionally, definitely.
And you guys asked some questions that we've not been asked before, and that's really interesting to us. So we really appreciate that.
We do. We appreciate it. We appreciate the time you put into asking us questions that obviously you put thought into. Mm-hmm. So yeah, for us it has been great. I mean, I'm missing White Boy Rick to do this, so take that as a compliment.
Oh, really? You wanted to see White Boy Rick? I haven't seen it, but I heard it was decent.
Yeah, my son and husband went out to see it while I'm here, and I'm like, oh, go ahead. But we had a great time, and we think you guys did an awesome job.
All right. I mean, I just want to ask you one more question. If there's anything that you can take away from this show tonight, what do you think was the best part about this show, and what would you say to people about us, and what is your first impression about us regarding this show tonight?
Well, I would say that, it's funny, I only see 148 subscribers on our screen, and that surprises me. So I would encourage people to take a listen and really give you guys a chance, because I think your show's interesting.
Right. I think that it's different than almost anything out there right now. So I think that, and plus, you guys are doing current topics, entertainment, things that those are relevant to the fan base. So
yeah, I agree.
We think sub.
I will beat you, Shutter. I will beat you into the ground.
Yeah. We have a little contest anyway. We made you an advertising video, and we were really excited to make that, because we were just like, oh, we want to make this advertising video.
Cute.
Yeah. I think that what I'm happy about with what we've done is that we've managed to keep it in terms of those 140 some odd people, is that they are people that most of them are people that we know or have come to know as friends more so than fans or subscribers. It's like, I do appreciate that, and I think that's something that a lot of YouTubers, when they're starting out, like, cherish, and they're not happy to lose that. And I'm just glad that if we don't even break 1,000 subscribers, it's like, I wouldn't mind that if that meant that we kept the kind of community that we have.
No, because here's the thing: whether we become popular or not, we're kind of establishing a career of ourselves, because we're making something that is more extracurricular, to get us by in like things, that's like, oh, we're actually going to do something that will help further our careers, not just, going to do a day job or going to university, which is what we're doing, and, that kind of thing. And quite frankly, I would really hope that I mean, we would hope that you would make an advertising video about us, but we don't want to brag. We don't want to do anything about that, but
Well,
We did all the work.
what was that? What was that, Joelle?
no, Carrie.
Oh, Carrie.
Yes, Carrie. I would just say that we agree with you and your sentiment, because Joelle and I had that same conversation this week. We would love to moth full time and be able to make this our career. However, even if that never happens, we know that we have helped some people, and that's enough.
And we
Yes.
also have a fan base, I guess, if, for a lack of a better term, that we have a group of people that we see on YouTube. They're in our Discord. They talk to us through Twitter. So we've developed this family.
Right.
Yes.
And that's enough.
And
That's
it is
for us.
enough.
Yes. And
if it
that.
goes crazy, that's good.
Yeah.
But
We'll
any.
definitely let everybody know about you guys. And we definitely will make sure that we let everyone out there that maybe doesn't know about you guys.
Yeah, we'll
because we
give you a
really
shout
want
out in
to-
our next video.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And it's even if we don't get super big or whatever, I'm always like, my mindset, at least within like the past 10 years, is like, I just want to make people happy, whether it be like large amounts of people or small amounts of people. If somebody's having a bit of a rough day, like they need a laugh or something, or they just need to put a smile on their face, I want to help them out. I want to help provide some happiness into their life, whether it be like a good job, like with their car being serviced or whatever, or just holding open a door for somebody. I don't want to be the butthead that would ruin a day for somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm the-
because it's. Yeah, I was gonna say this. I don't even go to conventions as often because I'm busy doing. I work a part-time job. I'm a full-time student, and I do this show, and and I don't even have a car. I have to go to. I have to take public transportation and rely on Uber and Lyft. Because and this is part of life, for me right now. But if I can contribute to some way somehow in the fandom, I thought, well, I want to do it this way, and I thought this was probably the best way that I can do.
Well, we think you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah. And how about you, Nako? Were you gonna finish anything or?
No, I pretty much said what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Except
And
for
as-
I want to go eat.
Yes.
I'm
and as for
kidding.
you,
I'm kidding.
and as for you, Cruz.
In terms of the whole thing that we've done, I think I kind of did say what I meant, say my piece earlier, but other people have elaborated on it, and I do agree. It's like, I mean, subscriber count is one thing, but what I've seen from other YouTubers, mainly Jacksepticeye, is like, if you focus on that, then it's kind of like you're always gonna not live up to it. So what I do appreciate is that what we get with the live streams is that we get to see people's reactions in real time, and that we get to communicate with people on here, and that these
Yeah.
people are not just people who show up when we're on stream. They're people who we talk to outside of the streams, and hopefully, we've been very fortunate to have guests like Boozy and Fjord, or who is now Quartz Husky, and now Moms of Furries, who's been with us. And I've been really fortunate to be where we are now.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. And guys, it's been a pleasure, and we really thank you for coming. We thank you again for coming to our show and asking these questions, and and I guess I just want to make sure that we got to you as you got to us.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is it, guys. That is our show for tonight, folks. And we're gonna say goodbye to the chat. As always, my name is Scarfy.
I'm Naka,
I am Bruce.
and our special guests.
We have the Moms
Bye.
of Furries.
Joelle,
All right, guys. This has been Subwuffer Entertainment Treehouse. Have yourselves a safe night, and as always, stay awesome. Have a good night, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. And did you close off, Naka?